WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on this Monday, after Thanksgiving. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you in front office, Los. You got a new hat.
That's the first thing.
He's a total different man.
I noticed that too immediately. I was like,
it's because it's a good-looking hat.
It's a no-faux brewery hat. Thank you to my father-in-law. His head was burning while we went over there, and he was like, I need a hat. I go, if you're buying, I'll pick out a hat for you. I already got one on.
I'll go get you a good one.
So go get you a good hat.
And then was able
the hat.
Able to keep it in the end. That's a good deal there.
The man owed me some money.
Oh.
I went tracking down Winter Lager, Sam Adams Winter Lager for him Wednesday after the show.
This is a dedicated son-in-law. The man couldn't
I took his only daughter. I had to find him some beer.
That's right. So the man, Los's father-in-law, wanted Sam Adams Winter Lager. Couldn't find it anywhere in Huntsville, Alabama.
Found 2 6-packs here in Atlanta. That was it. 2. I managed to find 6 more. I found 2 at the Total Wines down the street. Thank you for holding those for me. And then I found a handful more at the place that I go to over in Cumming. Really cool. And so for those of you that do love yourself some Sam Adams Winter Lager, I know you're out there because it's hard to find.
Yeah, geez, but that's a fine son-in-law right there to go out and search for a man some Winter Lager.
I got me a hat.
And you got a hat.
But it's good to see you guys.
Yeah,
this is a security blanket. Look at Jeray. Now, again, Aaron was great while he was here. We did the thing for those days while both of you guys were on vacation. I hope you all had a really good time. But this is the security blanket.
No,
this is the comfort zone.
I'm glad to be back. I'll tell you, I've missed my routine a little bit. You know,
you miss getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Not that part of it. Maybe not all of it. But the most of it, though. Most of it. You know, just talking about things that matter in the world because I've been keeping up, but I've not had anybody to talk to about it, really.
Well, even Wednesday, by the time that we sign off with the show, and thank you to Angela Morbito who came in.
Who's the best.
Doing great with her pregnancy and got a chance to talk a lot about that fun stuff. But then to have everything that we've had transpired, not just in the political world, but also locally here in the sports world, you want to talk about a left turn of thinking. I spent 3 weeks telling everyone, Georgia doesn't want to play in the SEC championship game. You want to take the bye week and have your week off.
Make sure you get healthy.
And before you know it, here's A&M getting beat by Texas in Austin, which that game, it was a beehive. Like they weren't going in there and running away with that football game.
No.
To have the fight that you had at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with Georgia Tech and Georgia, and then to see Alabama having to hold on for dear life with that Auburn team that suddenly came alive. Now we have Alabama and Georgia over at Mercedes-Benz on Saturday.
But it just tells you, though, and Dre, jump in here, too, as an Alabama fan, it just tells you what rivalry games really mean.
Yes.
It's a different animal. It throw out the record books, doesn't matter how good one team is and how bad the other is. Those rivalry games mean more than anything else in the world, and probably the Iron Bowl the most emotional of all of them.
Dude, every single year, if it's within one score and there is a couple of minutes left, I just find myself thinking about the kick six. I find myself just thinking about those crazy plays. Yes.
I couldn't get over before kickoff. I kept looking at the line, and I don't bet lines, but I pay attention to lines. The line for a 5-6 Auburn team stayed at 5.5. So within one score, the entirety of the week and leading into kickoff. That's a team that if you told me here's an Alabama squad that's going to be pushing 10 wins versus a 5-6 Auburn team, and it's not more than a touchdown favorite, that's all you needed to know about how Vegas looked at that scenario.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, especially as a guy that didn't have a dog in the fight, really, just to watch a really good football game. And, well, some people would say it's good. Some people say it was
that
sloppy.
Auburn offenses.
Yeah, some people say it was.
And throwing the football in that game, if you're a fan of the passing game, you didn't get a lot of fun out of that game.
Run the damn ball.
Mm-hmm. Both those quarterbacks were like, can I get to 50% passing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. But it was so much fun to watch as a guy that was just, let's see what happens here. And have plenty of friends that are Alabama fans and plenty of friends that are Auburn fans. And you could just see them, because we're in a group text together, just blowing each other up and then going, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, this is how I know it turned. So I'm on a text with a friend of mine, Thomas, who does training for a lot of young athletes in the area. Great dude. And Thomas and I are texting each other at 10-0. That is, man, Auburn looks so bad. Like, they cannot move the ball offensively. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to blow them out. All right, looks like it's going to be Alabama and Georgia. And then that game starts to flip on its ear. And now suddenly you're in a one-score game.
Second half,
and it's who's going to make an error.
Yeah, that's right. Second half, total different game.
Wild.
Total different game.
Total cool iron ball.
Georgia Tech down at Mercedes-Benz. Georgia Tech got $10 million to move the game over there. I think that was the number.
Do it every time.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you, right? The building was 80-20.
Oh, definitely. It came across that way on television.
Dude, it was nuts how many Georgia fans were in there. I kept thinking, well, the Tech fans are going to show up. They'll be here in a little while. It just wasn't. It was like Georgia had Bobby Dodd when Georgia just takes over the stadium.
You have to make that commitment early on. Hey, I'm buying or I'm selling these tickets. And quite honestly, if you're a Tech fan early in the year, yeah, you're going to sell those tickets.
Because you can pay for your whole season ticket package probably with that one.
I'm going to clean up probably $400 to $500, even more so with a premium seat. If it's after week 1, week 2, yeah, I'm probably selling that thing, not thinking that to the point Georgia Tech went into the last couple of weeks of the season with a chance at an ACC championship.
Yeah.
I'm probably looking at it going like, I can't believe I sold that to that Georgia fan.
Right.
But that's what it looked like in that building.
Let me tell you, they still have incredible respect for Haynes King.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great game necessarily.
Just a baller.
He is a ball player. He's a warrior. That kid is... I would want him on my team. It doesn't matter what. If I had a chance to get Haynes King on my team, I would always grab that guy because he's the guy. He's so easy to pull for. Well, I'm not a Tech fan, and it's easy to pull for.
Yeah, I know it's a bummer to see them lose 3 of the last 4 as it all played out. But that ends up still being, that's a 9-win season. That is jumping ahead of where I believe you thought you were going to be after. And last year was they won 7 games. This is a pretty good jump.
See that progress.
The ascension is happening there.
You see that progress. SEC championship. Anybody got predictions on that? Jere, we'll start with you.
I'm upset that Jam's not going to be there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see that young
tough.
man with that ankle. Yeah. And he was toting the rock. If you don't know, Jam Miller, the running back for Alabama has 3 running backs in their rotation, and they basically said, forget it. We're just going to ride Jam Miller because he's the only one who seems to be productive right now. And Jam Miller is just hammering Auburn. And then what was it? Maybe late third quarter?
Yep.
Goes down, and you have to see that poor young man having to go off on crutches. With the ankle, heavily taped up.
Now, Daniel Hill looked good when they put him in there.
Yeah, no, he played well. But
I don't know what Georgia's. I don't know what the status is on all the players for Georgia.
I know Nate Smith got a little nicked up. Nate Frazier got a little nicked up.
I can tell you from my source, it looks like when it comes to their center Bobo, that's going to be long term.
Yeah.
That I'm from when I reached out to my friend who is embedded with the team, he says looks like a broken bone in the foot. But again, Georgia's always very coy with telling you. They'll say, well, it's going to be some time.
We were leaving, and our parking carried us by the Georgia convoy, and we saw him get on the bus on crutches.
Yeah.
So you know that's not. And that game changed when he came out of the game.
Yeah, when you lose your starting center. And I know Georgia has rotated so many young people on that offensive line, but Bobo has been the rock of that offensive line.
Yes,
suddenly the cutback lanes weren't there. The cutoff blocks weren't getting to where they needed to be. The Georgia offense, in terms of the run game, went stagnant. But I also get it, too. At no point would I have opened up that offense based on what the defense was doing.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run the football, and then I'll punt it to you, and as long as we don't make a mistake, you're keeping Tech at arm's length that whole game.
That and the defense played really, really well and was able to shut down Georgia Tech for the most part. But, it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out because you got injuries on both sides, Alabama and Georgia.
Well, this is also the challenge when you start talking about these championship games surviving, that you've been told by the committee, and this was back when we were looking at the 12-team playoff initially, that no one's going to be hurt by the outcomes of their championship games. And that's been factual. You saw this with Texas. They lost, and yet they were still in. It'll be very problematic if Alabama doesn't get in, but at the same time, you haven't had a 3-loss team in there yet.
I bet that changes if Alabama wins the SEC championship.
Well, of course. They're automatically in at that point. They're automatically in, and I believe Georgia, even if they were a 2-loss team, they're automatically in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the logjam ends up becoming what happens at those teams that are all good football teams.
Texas included.
Yes. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all sitting right around in that range. The problem being is that you are going to have an automatic bid from your group of 4. You're going to have somebody who's going to win the ACC. They're automatically in. And you have Duke.
This is a numbers game at this
Duke
point.
could be in the playoffs. If Duke gets in, do you realize what that does? It starts pushing other teams down in the pecking order.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sarkisian talked about it specifically. He was like, nobody else has played the schedule we played. Nobody's beat top ranked teams like we have. And he was very adamant about wanting to get in. And I kept thinking about 3 losses, man. I just don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't know.
They're always going to be able to claim a loss to Ohio State, and that's what they'll point out. Hey, week 1, we went to Ohio, and we played them in the horseshoe, and we lost that football game. Yes, all true. But you still got beaten up by Georgia, and you still lost to a Florida team that struggled to win a game in the conference.
Yeah, it's not a good.
It's a tough look.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So we'll see. But this is kind of what makes it fun, though. If you're looking at college football playoff, just having these conversations, these discussions are kind of fun.
We'll get the second to last ratings on Tuesday, and then Sunday we'll get the playoff field.
Yeah.
So and then you can start booking tickets and planning what you're going to play in, because I know a lot of Georgia fans these days. The SEC championship game still matters, absolutely 100%. And you now have Georgia, who's been at it 7 of 8 years. So that's pretty impressive as well. But now when you start talking about perhaps a home game, or you're on the road to, let's say, a Sugar Bowl or an Orange Bowl, that's when the wallets come out.
Right. Kirby Smart still values the SEC championship game, and I love that about him. I don't know that anybody else does. Not like Kirby Smart. I think he's the only one that's still waving the SEC championship banner as if it means the world.
Well, I think it matters. I think last year, after you lose to Notre Dame the way you did in a playoff game, you still can look back at that season and say you're SEC champs.
Yeah.
And so,
sure.
it still does matter. Let's face it, there's a lot of people around here that when you would win an SEC championship game and then you'd go play Sugar Bowl, your season was already made.
Yeah.
It's like we amongst my entire group of people that I'm in the office with or I play golf with, we're the champs and you are not.
Yeah.
That does matter. I get that. It does matter.
It does.
It's institutional, but big picture.
But big picture, I think the importance is slipping. And I love what Kirby said after the game when they asked him, do you want to play in the SEC championship? He's like, you absolutely do. He was like, you can't play scared, because if you play scared, you get a scared team. And we don't play scared. And I love that.
I love that.
Dude, he's a disciple of Nick Saban, man, because that sounds like something Nick Saban would have said back in the day.
So what's on the line? You have the ability, because now you'll probably rank 3rd in the country. More than likely, you'll move up in that A&M spot. You have an opportunity with Ohio State and Indiana playing each other 1 versus 2. You can move into potentially a number 1, number 2 spot. And it should mean, obviously, the bye week, but then an easier path in the playoffs because of now how they structured it versus last year. Last year, none of the teams that got a bye had an easy road.
Yeah, right.
Or an easier road.
An easier road, exactly right, because all 4 of them lost, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole Alabama Georgia thing, it's like almost like Georgia and Texas. You know what I mean?
It's just reversed.
It is, exactly.
Now they're coming after me.
Dude, that
Man.
Alabama A is like kryptonite to Superman. It totally is. And I know Jeray loves to hear it. But it's the truth. There's something about Alabama that Coach Smart coaches differently, or he does something. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, I still remember running a fake punt against them. You went, what the?
Yeah,
that's not what you typically do.
Why are you doing something out of the blue?
But I think that ends up, now you get a second crack at it, and it's going to be in your backyard. And so all the things are more in your favor, even though you had a crack at them in Athens.
Yeah, and got your tail kicked. Interesting to me, though, how that game finished after the way it started, because it was just a wax the floor Pitt versus Georgia Tech, that kind of opening for Georgia-Bama, right? Georgia only loses by a field goal.
Well, second straight year they had to get back in the game.
They had to, absolutely right. There's just something about the Alabama A that Kirby Smart he sees it.
Been his kryptonite, man.
Yeah, that's exactly how I use
But I'm
that.
not going to be over here gloating and dancing this week or anything like that because it's always been so close.
It opened up as a 1.5 point spread. It's at 2.5 now.
I love it. That's what makes college football great. This is what makes college football so much fun. If you ask me, I love it. I inject it into my veins. That's how much I love it.
Again, who's the desperate team? Because I know Alabama is. You don't want to leave it to a committee.
No.
I don't want to sit back and say, I know we played in the championship game, and hey, we lost to Georgia in a close matchup. Are they going to use that against me as a third loss? And I'd look around and say, well, you haven't done that to anybody else yet.
That's right, yeah.
All right, we'll see.
The conference championship doesn't damage you, doesn't hurt you.
It's not supposed to, right?
So they say.
So they say.
We shall see how it all shakes out. I don't know. But
and then, by the way, too, then we have the National Guard incident that goes on in D.C.
Dude.
And when that came down.
Livid about this.
Wednesday, that was the next area of saying, all right, we really do have a total mess on our hands in terms of, in my opinion.
How long have we been saying this, though?
We talked about what happens when, and I can go back and go to some of our systems. We've been saying what happens when violence occurs and whether it's a ICE official or we said National Guard gets shot. And it plays out right in front of you with some very sketchy characters involved here.
Dude, I'm so livid about this. The vetting for people coming to Afghanistan after the retreat, the Joe Biden retreat from Afghanistan, that was an embarrassment to our nation, an embarrassment to our military, an embarrassment to us as citizens. After that, the vetting process was the exact same as it was on the southern border. Not existent. It did not exist. They did nothing. And this person was a CIA-trained operative to begin with. You would think you would have some tabs on that guy.
That was initially came credit to Laura Logan. She has
incredible,
really great pieces of information when it comes to the intel community. She was the first person to post, this is someone who worked as a strike force member of Afghanis and was backed by the CIA. And all we've had from President Trump, obviously this is a tragedy, but all he's been pointing out, he might have been suffering from mental illness. You think?
Yeah.
Are you sure that what they did in Afghanistan, he brought it here and he was angry? Or he was an operational figure.
And radicalized here in Washington State, according to the reporting.
We've been told that there is a color revolution that's going on. And we talked about that earlier in the week that, here's what's going on when you have these sitting congressmen, congresswomen, and senators that are talking about openly defying orders. And they're all saying this, well, what happens when something violent happens? What happens when something violent occurs? And then we'll see if Donald Trump and his administration do something illegal. You are not going to be able to convince me that this wasn't part of some sort of operation to cause this is an op. This is an op 100% in my mind.
Freaking 100%.
This is a total op. You actually have a CIA-backed trained Afghani who did this.
And there's so many people in that deep state in the CIA that are still so anti-Trump that they would do anything in the world to damage the president, to damage America, to get their way, to have their crazy leftist ideals and dreams play out in front of your face.
By the time we got to Wednesday evening is when all of it starts coming together for me. And again, the reason why they call it a tinfoil hat is to try and dissuade you from asking questions. Oh, you've got on your tinfoil hat. No, the question I would
they're
ask
trying to
is
embarrass you.
After 34 felony counts and all the silliness and obviously the case blowing up here in Georgia as well, do you really think they stopped trying to get rid of Donald Trump? No. It's just the next phase.
You have to be foolish to believe that. You'd have to be completely foolish to believe that. And I know you don't believe that. 6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Eric Swalwell is playing chicken with the Trump administration next on Extra.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Extra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
Atlanta Braves single game tickets for the 2026 season are now on sale. Get your tickets for some exciting matchups next season and check out some fan favorite ticket packages like Hello Kitty, SpongeBob, Snoopy, and Father's Day Catch on the Field. Plus, snag the first giveaway of the season, the Drake Baldwin Rookie of the Year bobblehead on March 31st, presented by Coca-Cola. Visit Braves.com/promos to get your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetcetera.com, cpapsetc.com, with a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Attention extra listeners. The end of the year is closing in. Are your retirement plans ready? We at Master Plan Retirement Consultants are holistic retirement planners, including income and growth planning, tax strategies, and estate and legacy planning. Each piece of the retirement puzzle must fit together cohesively because we know a change in one area can inevitably affect the others. Our boutique team serves you with fiduciary care, ensuring every step moves you closer to a confident, sustainable retirement. Don't wait. There's still time to adjust your plan before year end. Schedule your complimentary consultation now at masterplanretire.com. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Hey, this is John Flading, the owner of ATL Turf Co. If your grass didn't grow this summer, there's a good chance it won't grow this spring. It's time to think about a custom, low-maintenance, pet-friendly, artificial lawn that will stay green year-round. So this holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving. A perfect backyard or custom golf green from ATL Turf Co. See what's possible for your home. Read our 5-star reviews and book your appointment today at atlturfco.com. Spots are filling up fast, so call now, 404-825-7063.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is partner at Ross & Pines, one of Atlanta's leading criminal defense firms, Noah Pines. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
It's midnight and the phone rings. It's a loved one calling from jail. They had a little too much fun at the holiday party and got pulled over. Now what? Time to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance will get your loved one home quickly. For 20 years, they've been helping folks with 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham and are available 24/7. For fast, professional, discreet services, call 404-BAILOUT. That's 404-BAILOUT or visit atlbail.com. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us.
See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at progressive.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, December 1st. Metro Atlanta police are sharing information about safety and scam prevention for the holiday shopping season. They warn in-person shoppers to shop in pairs or a group when possible, to park in well-lit areas, and to not leave any valuables in your car. Police also say to be on alert for online scams by sticking to reputable online retailers with secure payment options, and to schedule deliveries for a time when someone will be at home. Police also recommend doorbells with surveillance cameras to capture any package thieves. The city of Smyrna has approved a plan with the Cobb County School District to revamp the underutilized Campbell Middle School campus. The new plan includes renovating 15 acres, including the football and baseball fields, tennis courts, parking areas, and a green space. The new recreational areas will be allowed to be used by the community after school hours and on the weekends. And over 10,000 runners and walkers turned out for the 23rd annual Gobble Jog on Thanksgiving in Marietta. All proceeds of the Gobble Jog benefit Must Ministries. This year's event was expected to raise almost $700,000. Today's weather mostly cloudy and chilly with some scattered showers. The high is 51 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Eric Swalwell is a goon, and he is a guy that has announced that he's going to run for governor of California. But he lays it out pretty clearly, I do believe, when he says, hey, this is what we're going to do. If we get back into power, this is exactly what we're going to do. And it won't be a surprise to you, I don't believe.
And Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, you should familiarize yourself with the four corners of this room. Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, get to know that witness chair. You're going to be parked in it for a long time. You're going to have a lot of questions under oath with the subpoena power. And I hope what you're doing is clean and can withstand the scrutiny that everyone on this side of the aisle is going to bring. You think we won't do it. You think you're invincible. You're wrong. Accountability is coming. You've got about a year, and I yield back.
This is the guy.
What a clown show.
That should be in prison for being dumb enough to get caught up in a Chinese honeypot scandal. But he's back to doing what Democrats have said they're going to do and have been doing for 10 years. Promise to go after Trump when they regain power. Because he said...
The only way they can fundraise and generate... By the way, and this speaks to it, because I just went and put this out here and to, basically get your opinion on. So you have Libs of TikTok posted this as well. This is from the New York Times. Short on cash, the DNC took out a $15 million loan in October.
That's right.
Now that USAID, the only way they can generate money, the only way that they can fundraise is by going after Trump, disparaging Trump, or saying we'll get back at Trump or anybody else.
They need him on the ballot.
They need the money. They need him on the ballot.
Right, because if he's not, then they come up $15 million short. And USAID is dust in the wind now.
They can't raise any money.
So now they're in that position. So why does Eric Swalwell go and say the things he does? Trying to get somebody spun up. And he was talking about, obviously, the ICE raids and illegal immigration and the things that Kristi Noem and Tom Homan are a part of. But who directs them? Don't be mistaken. He knows exactly who he's talking to. He's talking to Donald Trump. Hey, as soon as we take back over, we're coming at you just like we've always done. There's going to be 34 new felonies that you'll face, and most likely will get out of because there's just nothing there. Just like Fani did here in Georgia, I'm campaigning on going after Donald Trump. Just like Big Tish did up in New York, I'm going to get Donald Trump. That's my goal for my office.
They really did do a number on these people. You actually cut off their money. This is like what you do with the mafia. This is how you go after these people. You go after their piggy bank, and suddenly they can't operate. The Republicans, most notably this administration, went after the piggy bank. They found all the levers. They're going after the illegal voters. They're going after the very power that was the
entire structure of their power base.
If you just had left him alone in 2020, everything would just be going on as normal.
Dude, it would be done.
You wouldn't have to borrow money to run a campaign.
We'd be done.
Yes. It'd be on to the next guy. Be back to business as usual, establishment politics, right back. In fact, Tug, by the time we're done, we're going to have to be like, well, this is going to be something new and weird. We're going to have lived through the better part of 15 years of Donald Trump-centric politics.
That won't end, though. That's the thing. It's not ending. J.D. Vance is going to pick it up. Probably much more conservative than what you've seen with Donald Trump. Now, they'll hate J.D. Vance. Don't get me wrong. They will.
Oh, they'll make him a demon.
They'll make him
be a racist demon, silver spoon, all the lies they'll basically tell.
That's the next thing. But the difference is J.D. Vance is going to rule. He's going to govern as a conservative instead of what Donald Trump has been, which is not very conservative. And that's the thing. But they don't care about that with Donald Trump anyway. He could be governing left of center right now, and they'd still hate him just as much.
They're going to have to create a new boogeyman.
I don't know if you can create one much as this one.
But this one already took their money.
That's right. Yeah.
He's stealing their voters.
Yeah.
He, and I know it's more ice, but that's fine. He fixed Charlotte.
Their traffic's much better.
Schools are empty as far as like the kids that aren't supposed to be there. He fixed the traffic situation. Come to Atlanta. I'd love it.
You'd have to think that that's at least being considered. You'd have to. With the AJC admitting 500,000 people that are...
We don't have any more stories about how safe D.C. or Memphis is. So I can't tell you about it. They don't want to.
No, they would never bring it up. Now you got judges up there ruling that Donald Trump must take the National Guard out of D.C. But the people that live there feel completely different. This judge says, I don't care that your kids feel safer. I don't like Donald Trump, so the National Guard's got to go.
Oops. It's what it is. Results versus reality.
They don't like results because the results are not driving people to depend on government.
Yeah.
That's the result that they don't like.
That's the part they don't care for when you get these people that are basically big government officials who really don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah. Despise him.
What a wonderful time to be alive.
It's just an odd time.
It is.
It's a very unusual time.
We will look back on this time period. As I told you, history is going to think about Donald Trump in a different way than the media will. Like, history is going to look back and say, this is a guy who served 2 terms, though not consecutively, but who dominated the entirety of politics from 2016 to 2028 and perhaps even beyond. That's a long run.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the reason why we have the no more than 2 terms is because FDR was growing into a tyrant. Like, when he died, there were people that were like, thank you. Like, really? Like, we're not doing this again. We're not letting somebody serve into perpetuity.
But Donald Trump can trigger them and make them think that with those hats that he sits on the corner of his desk.
The hats are funny.
They're hysterical because there's no intent there. It is nothing more than, hey, here's how I'm going to drive them crazy today. And I'll have them focused on this while I'm over here doing that. It's nothing more than a game, and he knows how to play it really, really well. Does he always get it right? No, he's imperfect, just like anybody else. But holy cow.
It works.
Yeah.
And he plays it well.
He does so well. Tug and Los, glad that you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Donald Trump has been just getting after drug transporters, the boats that they put all the drugs on and transport them out of Venezuela. And a lot of people have been upset about that. I've not. They're in international waters. If they're running drugs, then this is the proper response, in my opinion. It's what the military is used for, keep that stuff out of the United States of America. Now, with all the craziness that's going on down in Mexico, maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump is using the events and the tactics that he's using against Venezuela and those drug runners to clean things up in Mexico. Because Claudia Sheinbaum, she's a socialist. She's in the back pocket of all the cartels. So was the previous president, Lopez Obrador. Both of them, just as filthy, dirty, and in with the cartels. So we know that stuff that's happening, whether illegal immigrants trying to get across the border, which has been shut down by and large, but the drug trade is still brewing huge down there. And I think Donald Trump, knowing what chaos is down there, knowing that this is basically a failed narco state in Mexico, is using what he's doing in Venezuela to get the attention of the Mexican government.
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is... Look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir.
I don't know who the 15% would be. It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Donald Trump is using this as a strategy. He's saying, you know what I'm doing down there? I'm not opposed to doing it. If that continues, if those narcotics come across this border, then yes, I'm willing to do exactly what I've done down there in Mexico. Y'all better take note.
I think that there's something really sad about the cycle that happens in Mexico. And I was listening to a discussion point about this where every few years you get young people that go to the Capitol and cause a bunch of mayhem. And then it makes social media and, oh, look what's happening. Then the military rolls in, not on the people, but, hey, we'll deal with the cartels more. That doesn't work out. Then they roll in the Mexican Marines. And then everything is, all right, we did what we needed to. We arrested some cartel members because the cartel then has some sacrificial lambs for them. Then everything goes back to exactly where it was before.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant cycle.
It is.
And it doesn't matter who's president. It's just...
It's because the cartels run the country.
They own all of it.
And they're not going to let it go, ever.
They own all of it.
And that's why when people are like, hey, we're going to... I even said it when we went. I did not want to go on senior trip to Mexico because I did not feel good about it. And if I were a parent right now, I would not go down there because it is bad. And they have no desire to fix it. They're working with the Chinese to make sure that fentanyl is created by the cartels. China has said they're not going to do that. I don't believe them for 1 second. They've never proved to be truthful in anything that they've ever promised Trump or anybody else in the White House. So that complete failed state is going to stay that way. Donald Trump is doing nothing more than, hey, I'm willing to blow some things up down there if y'all don't leave us alone, if y'all don't keep your crazy down in Mexico. And I love the tactic because it's on display what he's willing to do to the Venezuelans. Now the Mexicans at least have to go, I wonder if he's serious.
Let me give you a number. So the NFL, first off, is the NFL ever ending as of now? I'd say no.
What do you mean ending? Like just ceasing to
just
exist?
Being over. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, probably not.
I mean, $211 billion is the value of the league.
Yep.
All right, by estimates, that's either on par or half of what the Mexican cartels are worth.
Good Lord. Exactly.
So tell me how exactly at $200 billion they're going to somehow go, well, this is a bad idea, stand down. Hey, we got a new president, watch out.
We're going to pay her off too.
I mean, even
if she wanted to, she couldn't.
Even if Donald Trump started napalming the place, like taking old school weapons that we don't even have anymore and said, no, let's go scorched earth all over this thing. Let's deal with these cartels in this way. They'd still say, okay, Mr. President, we'll wait this out for the next 2 or 3 years because we're a $200 billion business. We'll wait for the next one.
And you'll be gone. Unless J.D. Vance gets in there, and then that changes probably the math a little bit.
Can't imagine that you're ever going to change it.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, I agree with that.
It's just built into society now.
I do agree with that 100%. At some point, somebody's going to pick the ball. Even if they were to clean it up by some miracle of God, they were to clean it up, it would last about a day and a half.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
If you were lucky.
Yeah. But I do love the fact that Donald Trump is not afraid to go, y'all better not bring it across the border. You better not let this crap happen here.
This has always been, at least when I was growing up in Texas, this was always the agreement with the cartels. Now, the cartels weren't anywhere near as strong. The Colombian cartels were the strength. The Mexican cartels is what picked up the slack when you had all the push into Colombian cocaine and that whole attack. The cartels in Mexico were basically, you operate, but none of your violence shows up over here.
Kind of like the way they do the resorts.
Yes.
Because they know where the American dollars
the
are coming
Americans
from.
alone. Leave them alone. You can shoot it out, battle it out, do whatever you want in your country. As long as it doesn't bleed over to ours, fine. But that's the difference. It now shows up at your resorts. It shows up crossing the border as well.
It's bad news. Bad news down there. Tug and Los until 10. The raid on Mar-a-Lago was an op to protect Obama. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, December 1st. It's championship week in college football. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will once again be the site of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama. Each team survived tight games in rivalry week. Georgia's currently a 2.5-point favorite for this matchup Saturday afternoon. The Hawks, they play the second game of a back-to-back tonight after a 142-134 double overtime win in Philadelphia last night. The Hawks are now in Detroit to play the Eastern Conference leading Pistons. That tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. Monday Night Football closes out Week 13 in the NFL as the New England Patriots host the New York Giants. The Giants will be with rookie starting quarterback Jackson Dart. He missed time with a concussion. That kickoff is set for 8:15. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Did you wake up this morning, put your feet on the floor, and you just wanted to pick them right back up because the floor was freezing cold? Well, that can be changed if the air in your house is really, really cold. Let me introduce you to Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning, because they can make the perfect temperature. They can create it in your home with a brand new Carrier system. It's the perfect time to upgrade your comfort. For a limited time, you get $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. You get both. Brand new Carrier system, dependable, efficient, and delivers that comfort that your family deserves. And Lord, I know this time of year they won't. Central and Carrier, they set the standard in cooling and heating for over 3 generations. Now your chance to bring that comfort to your house and the best savings of the season. Again, up to $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. How do you get it? Call Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers with my dad, Mike. Dad, what's the all-time best Christmas gift?
Diamond studs. Everybody needs a pair.
And ours don't break the bank. Real diamonds set in gold from just $275.
Yep, haven't raised those prices since the 80s.
How on earth does that work?
We get them straight from the source, just like we've done since 1939, and handpick the best and brightest.
And with D. Geller & Son's lifetime upgrade, get 100% of what you paid towards a bigger pair anytime for life.
We also have diamond jackets for $5.95 that go around the studs to instantly change the look.
And that's just one thing. We've got birthstone jewelry, stackable rings and bracelets.
Our best holiday selection ever at prices that can't be beat.
So come spend the holidays with the experts at D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the honest car guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The honest car guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the honest car guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
I was live streaming makeup tips when my internet went down. My followers were furious. Like, both of them.
Someone damaged the gas line and our service was turned off for safety. Now my chili is ruined and I'm simmering.
As she was digging into my chocolate delight, someone dug through a water main. No water,
No bath.
no delight.
All because my neighbor didn't contact 811.
Be a good neighbor and contact 811 before digging.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Well, they've gone and done it now. New York has elected a communist to be their mayor. If it could be any worse, they've elected a Muslim communist. If he gets his way, and that's a big if, it'll be a disaster for New York City.
Atlanta Talk radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
We've already talked about a couple ops this morning. We got off to a hot start on a Monday.
Welcome to Monday.
First day of December. It's cold outside. It's hot on Extra 106.3. Another op. We will talk about another op this morning, and that is the op that took place at Mar-a-Lago front office Los.
So Devin Nunes, the former congressman, Devin Nunes went on Fox News over the weekend, and he believes that he knows exactly why there was a raid on Mar-a-Lago. Now, we've talked about it. We've speculated that this was in reference to Crossfire Hurricane. And we said, we believe this is the reason why you had the federal government, the FBI, went in there, didn't find what they were looking for. Turns out it looks like it was all in burn bags back over at the FBI offices.
Exactly right.
The government at its finest.
Yeah.
We don't know where. We think he has them. We need them back.
But then you stumble upon them like in your basement.
So you then had the FBI, and as we found out, the reason why the case fell apart, they staged a scene. They took pictures. By the way, when you were out, Bill Maher had Laura Trump that was on his podcast.
I saw it.
One of the funniest points of that was Bill Maher talking about, well, I mean, then you got stuff in the bathroom. It's like, it was staged, Bill. That's why the entire case fell apart.
Right. And he went on to say that, your family's really been treated no different than any other family.
Of course not.
In the White House. She was like, they raided our freaking house.
Like they tried to put him in prison for the rest of his life. Well, Devin Nunes, again, goes on Fox News, and he believes he knows exactly what they were looking for. It was an intelligence report that he helped craft it. Take a listen.
I'm going to try to get out as much of this information and get it declassified as possible.
So you believe that they raided Mar-a-Lago because they were looking for this? They were looking for the intelligence community assessment, your report on Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. That's why they raided Mar-a-Lago?
I believe it had to be one of the things that they were looking for. Because, look, that report is pretty damning. If people take the time to read it, it's 45 pages. It spent, we had a dedicated team that spent nearly 2 years down at the CIA looking through this. It was blocked from getting out, and the reason that report is so important, right? That's let's just dumb it down. Simply put, we went through every single piece of intelligence that existed, and if anything, it was clear that if Putin was going to do anything, he probably wanted Hillary Clinton to win. But in fact, if you just apply a little common sense to it, the fact is that nobody around the world thought that President Trump was going to win in 2016. Same with Vladimir Putin. He didn't either. And so when you go through that was the intelligence. Every piece of intelligence that existed we went through it. It's in that report. And what do we know? After all this, after all, Trump and Russia and collusion, the two people that didn't collude? Trump and Russia.
He claims they were looking for the intelligence report that backed everything we're now hearing, that Barack Obama was the impetus behind all of what ended up being Crossfire Hurricane.
And that's kind of what Kash Patel was talking about, I think, day before yesterday, a few days ago, when he talked about those burn bags and all of that information being made public. He said, you'll find out through investigation, public trial, or disclosure from Congress that you will find out all of the things that were going on about Barack Obama, about Russian collusion, and how it all worked together. You will find out, says the FBI director.
It's about as official as it gets if Kash Patel is telling you you're going to find out about all this information. Because, again, the question always becomes, it seems very flimsy. when you're having the discussion that Mar-a-Lago was raided because they were looking to get back documents that Donald Trump was already allowed to have anyway.
Right. He had presidential authority to have them and could have declassified them by his word.
And so when you have, as the story goes, well, the National Archives and the president were discussing which items he should hold on to. Well, this was already, if you go by even somebody like Eric Trump, said this discussion has already been going on for months. This wasn't a offense where you said, oh, well, you've committed this crime. We're going to raid your home. It was, okay, what are you going to keep? What are we going to keep?
You're not sending emails if it's illegal.
Right. What are we going to use for the presidential library? What do you claim that you want to have back? This was a discussion that then turned into a raid to go get what at the time, the Biden administration, the deep state, all of them believed they had that was incriminating to them.
The Biden administration puppeted by Barack Obama, who knew what was at stake. He knew his legacy, if you will, or at least his reputation was on the line.
So I just enjoy that when you still have, and this is that, and we're going to bring this up several times today because I have more supporting audio, but the truth of what happens with the common liberal, they invent their own reality and then they hold on to it as if it's some sort of truth. You still have, whether it's Bill Maher or Aunt Peg or crazy whoever, who still firmly believes, well, he had classified documents he wasn't allowed to have. Well, that's not possible. He's the president.
It's not true. Now, Joe Biden, on the other hand,
now when they're sitting in his garage as the VP,
did not have the right to have those documents.
And why was he not prosecuted? Well, he's just too old.
He's too old.
He's too old to prosecute. You don't understand. He doesn't get.
You can't take her house. She's too old.
He's too old. You don't understand. He makes car noises while we're interviewing him. That was one of the funniest parts about it. He's making car noises, y'all.
Oh, my God.
He's not here anymore. Yeah. That's why they decided not to prosecute him. So we'll see how this all plays. But I think at times you're just trying to chip away at whatever the weird world that the left has created for themselves.
Because most likely, most of the people that are guilty of most of the things that we now know have happened, or we've thought and now is being proved that happened or didn't, that we've known about forever, they won't all be prosecuted. They won't all go to jail. Probably most won't. But the narrative finally falls apart. And then you can move forward because you know the truth.
Well, and this was another discussion point that happened over the last 72 hours. That you have a large amount of whistleblowers that are trying to not catch any blowback over this, that are saying, no, this is how it all played out. Now, we'll see where this goes. I'm with you. I don't believe you're going to have anyone of real significance that's going to do any real prison time. But there is a reason why you do now have this Trump administration and Donald Trump that are like guns ablazing on all of you.
Because you're hoping it just can never happen again. I mean, you're hoping at least that.
Well, they took the auto pen and just said null and void. Now it's going to cycle all through the courts.
Sure.
And we'll see how this all plays out. But this administration feels more than comfortable in saying you had a puppet show going on for 4 years and all of this is null and void.
I'm glad he's doing it. It's worth doing. It's important to do. No, you're not going to see those prominent Democrats in jail. You're not. Don't get your hopes up. They deserve to be in jail, but they won't. Don't get your hopes up. Just know that the whole thing is about not letting it happen again and uncovering the truth. Los always says light is the best disinfectant. And I believe it is the case here, too. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Senator Mark Kelly is attempting to lead a military rebellion. This clown drives me up the wall. Next on Extra.
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
With the holiday season quickly approaching and road trips back in vogue, now more than ever, convenience becomes a must-have. At RBM of Atlanta, we embody this definition. Convenience is our middle name. Meet the RBM of Atlanta Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for those services. And once the services have been complete, we'll bring your Mercedes-Benz back to you. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet. We're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2025 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. And we're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor at RBM of Atlanta for details.
Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. We have an important announcement. We've moved to a new location to serve you better. That's right, Atlanta Safe House has moved to a new location in Alpharetta. So come check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Brands include Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, and many more. So stop by their showroom today or go to atlantasafehouse.com. And remember, at Atlanta Safe House, we don't just sell safes, we sell peace of mind.
Ho, ho, holy cow. Family and friends are coming for the holidays, and you need some projects done around the house before they arrive. Relax. We've got you covered. Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia from the Trusted Toolbox. With our Handyman for a Day deal, we can knock out all those projects you've been putting off for months. From plumbing issues and painting to flooring, fencing, trim work, and much, much more. So get your home ready for the holidays and call us at 770-623-3097, or you can always book it online at thetrustedtoolbox.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know what time it is? Holiday season. Cooler weather. Perfect time to get those outdoor projects done. Stovall & Company has everything. Wholesale landscaping, nursery, irrigation supplies. At 11 locations, latest one in Canton. Family owned for 75 years. They've got it all. StovallInc.com.
Jaron Solomon here, and every year there's a new phone, a new tablet, a new trend, but some things never lose their value or their sparkle. This Christmas, make it unforgettable at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. You'll find gifts that sparkle as bright as the season, from our famous diamond studs to timeless tennis bracelets and trendy yellow gold necklaces starting at $9.99. It seems like every year everything gets more expensive, except here. Our holiday gift guides make it easy to find the perfect piece, and with our low price guarantee and flexible financing, luxury has never been more accessible. This holiday season, choose timeless over temporary. Choose jewelry. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to explore the gift guides or book your private appointment today to further customize your shopping experience. Solomon Brothers, Atlanta's trusted Christmas destination for over 40 years.
The Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
More talks in Moscow. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
President Trump's optimistic as his special envoy Steve Witkoff goes to Russia today to keep negotiating U.S. brokered peace plan that Secretary of State Marco Rubio talked to Ukrainian officials about again over the weekend in Florida, saying this is more than stopping Russia's war.
It's not just about the terms that ends fighting. It's about also the terms that set up Ukraine for long-term prosperity.
Back on to the president on Air Force One, flying back to Washington. He also told reporters he had a phone call with Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, but wouldn't give details as the U.S. military operation continues off the coast, targeting boats trafficking illegal drugs. The president also reacted to a report the U.S. carried out a second strike on one boat, killing 2 survivors of the first bombing. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth denies that, and the president backs him.
You can see the boats. You can see the drugs in the boats.
Some lawmakers in Congress want more answers, with some suggesting a war crime might have been committed. President Trump's invited the families of the 2 National Guard members attacked last week while on patrol in Washington to the White House.
The one is no longer with us, and Andrew is fighting for his life.
Andrew Wolf still in critical condition. Sarah Beckstrom died after being shot last Wednesday afternoon. The president says he's told her parents and his to come see him when they can.
The only thing I can say, they were devastated.
They were deployed with the West Virginia National Guard as part of President Trump's crime-fighting mission in Washington, D.C. and other cities.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. The suspected gunman facing murder and other charges is Ramanullah Lakhanwal, an Afghan national who fought with the U.S. during the war and came here after the American withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem questions his vetting process and tells ABC's This Week.
Since he's been here, we believe he could have been radicalized in his home community and in his home state.
He's from Washington State. America's listening to Fox News.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Hey, it's your old pal Neil Bortz. I'm back on Atlanta's only conservative news talk station, Extra 106.3. Okay, here's more of the Morning Extra.
We will talk to Neil Bortz tomorrow about 7:25. So if you're a Neil Bortz fan, love hearing what Neil Bortz has to say about the things that are happening in our country and around the world, then join us at that time to get Neil, because it's the only place you can get him.
It was intense last week without you.
What was Neil talking about?
So first off, we got into a discussion, and this was all based on the Kimmer show.
Okay.
So Kimmer had one of his audio returns, and he started talking about a story of some guy, an Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who had his house burned down in a fire. Okay. It was one of the wildfires in L.A. years ago.
Years ago.
In this case, okay. Several years ago. And then he went and started asking Flounder about, were they any good? Flounder's like, they're all right.
Well, they're all right.
So that got
the Chili
me.
Peppers?
Yes. So that got me on a run that morning of, you know what? When I get up in the morning, I'm going to put on Chili Peppers album. And I start, kind of like, do I do Mother's Milk? Do I do Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic?
They're all so good.
And so I decided to go with Californication. And the reason why is I'd made the point. I go, that was when John Frusciante rejoined the band. Went through all the drug issues. You got all the other guitarists during the mid-'90s. At the end of the decade, you get John Frusciante back. And the album just sounds different. Well, I'm talking about this on the air at like 7 o'clock hour. Neil immediately, who's this John Frusciante guy?
Oh, no.
And now we're in a discussion about the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
When I saw the Chili Peppers here at Truist Park, maybe 2-3 years ago when they played here, John was back in the band. He's now rejoined them again. And it was interesting, they only played music that he was a part of, that he was on during that tour stop. So a lot of the stuff that you know and love that he wasn't a part of, they didn't play.
His backing vocals is so original and just sounds so different that's to me is what peak Red Hot Chili Peppers sounds like with his guitar playing and his backing vocals.
Yeah, it's good, man. Californication is one of the greatest records. God, I love that band.
I know it's very commercialized verse, it's not Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. Care. But it's also not One Hot Minute.
No.
Okay, like those albums without him, I'm like,
Yeah, see, I love all them too. I just appreciate what he is too.
Yes, it adds something more to it.
It's just different. It's just different music. And I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. I've always been a fan. Love seeing. I've only seen them one concert one time, and that was here at Truist. And they were amazing.
Well, don't bring that up with Neil, because that was a good 90 seconds worth of us spinning wheels and all over the place. But it was good. Like I said, we had a lot of fun.
All right, today's the last day to eat your Thanksgiving leftovers, too. That's what doctors say. Don't eat it after today because, food stays in the fridge about 4 days. Then after that, it's just going to make you sick. So today's the last day. We're just giving you fair warning. Today's the last day. Eat a little bit of ham, eat a little turkey, whatever you got left over, and then it's got to go.
There's a slice of pie or two. My daughter made a vegan pumpkin pie, which was awesome. We gave away all the turkey. We just said, here, let the in-laws take it.
Yeah.
We have a Wellington that still remains.
Yummy.
And a little bit of stuffing left.
Okay.
So today's the day. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. You got to let it go. You got to let it go after today. As much as you want to keep it.
You got to unhinge the jaw and go for it. So one nice thing about eating in the way that we do, everyone who talks about feeling ruined.
Yeah.
That, you finish off Thanksgiving, you're like, oh, I put on like 4 pounds during Thanksgiving. I'm like, I didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with we never were overeating.
Yeah, we did. To be honest, in the last couple of years, I get a little bit of it. I've got to the point where I don't overeat on Thanksgiving. And I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if my whole family's like that or not. But I've gotten to that where I don't either.
I had one plate, and normally I will go back, and this is from years ago. I would then go back and have a second plate that was all the same as the first plate. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Had to go back. I was like, let me just put a little bit of stuffing on there.
Yeah.
All right, let me get one more piece of the, and it was it was tiny.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done, then it just turned into, okay, watch the end of the Green Bay Detroit game and wait for the Dallas game.
There you go. Absolutely. For us, I went back. My return was for green bean casserole because that's my favorite thing my wife makes. Had a little of that. Had the tiniest sliver of more ham and a little bit of a roll, and that was it, man.
I got fooled. I had one daughter who told me she didn't want me to honey glaze the ham this time around.
Okay.
And I thought that was a unifying message, that was coming from both fronts.
And it was not?
No, my older daughter was then bothered that the ham was not honey glazed. Because I'll make my own glaze and then I'll smother that on while I'm smoking the ham. Because the turkey was a legit 7-hour smoke.
Gosh, so good.
The ham's only about an hour, and you just glaze it a handful of times and it locks it in. But I had one precinct that was upset with the results of the ham.
What precinct?
They were reporting they were not as happy with it.
Right. The turkey at our house, I told y'all going in that it was, I'd asked if we could just get some fried chicken in honor of my late grandmother, Ma Bram. Because she didn't like turkey because it's dry, right? She'd never had Los's smoked turkey.
Oh.
And she had, she'd have felt very different.
She'd have felt completely different.
But she didn't. She didn't have that luxury. So she brought in fried chicken. I wanted to do that in honor of Ma Brown. Wasn't able to because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And we had a dry turkey. I took half a bite just to have some on my plate so it didn't hurt anybody's feelings.
I firmly believe, and I am a backer of this, the bountiful bird, if you do not handle it correctly, then you will get a dry product that's just like meh.
And 90% of the time over my life, it's been that.
That's what it is.
90%.
I'm with you. A conventional, regular cooked turkey, I'm not a fan of. I am right there with it. Now, you smoke it for 7 hours, or even if you deep fry it, because the way it's prepared, you have a better option. You have a better product there.
There you go. Well, now you know that today's the last day, even if you liked it or if you didn't. And if it didn't, if it's that dry turkey that's been sitting there that you ain't going to eat anyway, just go ahead and get rid of it today. Now you have it out.
I don't even know if I'd feed the dog dry turkey.
No,
right?
Right?
No. She won't like it.
You're better than this.
She's going to be so sick.
You're better than this. These insurrectionists that, and no, I'm not talking about January 6th because that obviously wasn't an insurrection since no one had a weapon.
That was a riot.
That was a riot. And a planned, that was another op. As we talk about ops.
Notice how we haven't heard recently about this bomber any longer.
No.
The pipe bomber you don't hear about anymore, and the Epstein files went really away very quickly.
How quickly did that disappear? But Mark Kelly, a guy that served. I think that's the most irritating part for me, a man that served, and he's still on this, well, if you do something in uniform, when we get back in power, you will be held to account. So all of a sudden, being threatening to our men and women in uniform if they don't defy orders, basically creating a rebellion.
Well, we were told during the time of lawfare, this is strictly applied to Donald Trump. No, they laid the groundwork. They were drunk with power, and now their giant hand in the sky is, I'm going to slap you with this once we're back in power. That if you do something we do not like, I'm going to slap you. All right, so what are they calling it, though, right now? Well, if you do something unlawful. Well,
and then has the courage to say, oh, they'll know.
Oh, they'll know.
They'll just know if it's lawful or not.
These are the same people that when Abbey Gate occurred and you had 13 heroes that were blown away, their immediate response is, well, let's bomb a van and kill 10 kids. Oops. Nobody was held into account for that. In fact, the government, under Joe Biden, they tried to cover it up for the longest time. It was a Freedom of Information Act that finally made it public. So don't tell me about how suddenly you're holier than thou when you killed a van full of kids because you wanted to look strong in Afghanistan after it fell apart.
And to that point, not trying to derail the conversation, but when you hear about the second bombing, the second attack on the drug boat off of Venezuela, they don't care about the law. Please don't be misled. That's not their concern.
No, and the issue there, and it's still a funny one, when you bombed it and had narco-terrorists, If there was a second strike, did they cease being narco terrorists after the first bombing?
Of course not. What kind of crazy thought is that?
They're just asking.
Yeah. And
if you have somebody who kills your parents and they're on death row and they foul up the execution, don't do it again?
No, you get it done.
No.
You absolutely get it done.
Carry out the mission.
That's exactly right.
That
Which
is
is
how
what
that works.
Pete Hegseth said. Nobody survives.
No. We're going to carry out the mission. So Mark Kelly, I'm just surprised at being what he is being looked at for, which is you are committing sedition as a former member of the armed services. The way that you were speaking. Now, granted, we do have the right to free speech in this country, but sedition is really about trying to break the chain of command. If there was ever a textbook definition, like for me, I can't really be prosecuted for sedition. We've had 2 different times where we've had sedition acts during war where both times the Supreme Court was like, no, that's an American citizen. They can do what they want. Mark Kelly's military.
That's right.
Mark Kelly's former military. Mark Kelly is sitting in a place of power. He is seditionist when he speaks in this way.
This is what I put in my notes, is exactly what Los is laying out. He is banking on some officer, some young sailor, some young Marine, some young soldier to buck the chain of command and use it for Democrat political gain. That's the plan. It's exactly what he's doing.
That's all he's playing. And what they're hoping as part of this color revolution, and that's what we're in now, it's a color revolution. The op is trying to create a scenario in which Donald Trump jumps off sides in their mind. What does that mean? Well, if there's suddenly violence in the streets and it's met by violence. Because they're hoping, they would love to have another summer of love and to have National Guardsmen open fire on those people. That's what they're hoping for. That's the color revolution. It's so they can prove, see, we told you they're violent. Yeah, but you're the one who started the violence. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's what they're hoping for. That's the end goal, is that the military starts to question so that they can get the president out of office.
It's the same scenario when you see these crazy protesters standing in front of a moving vehicle. They're hoping that someone gets hit. That way they can say, see, these people don't care about you. These people don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about America.
Yes, because those professional protesters know I'll be out in 24 hours.
Exactly right.
But can I create the viral moment?
If I get injured.
Can I be my own George Floyd?
Yep.
That's the goal. That's the color revolution. And let's face it, that color revolution, along with drop boxes, worked. The Democrats ended up taking power in a country where they looked at what was going on in the polling and said, we can't win this. We can't beat Donald Trump.
So what do we do?
Let's create a color revolution and let's pump up the numbers when it comes to drop boxes and the amount of voting that can no longer be verified. That's how they were able to do it last time. So I want you to listen to the Mark Kelly, knowing that that's the goal, knowing that that's the color revolution. The only way to continue the color revolution, because it is failing, that's the good part, is to try and double down on that sort of violence and that sort of issues where the military starts to question its own leadership.
You can certainly go to the judge, advocates, generals, the lawyers, and have a discussion about it. If you don't have time, you just say simply, I'm not going to do that. That's against the law.
It puts a lot of burden on the troops to make a decision in real time.
It puts a tremendous amount of burden on officers in the military, but that is their responsibility, and they can figure out, a reasonable person can tell something that is legal and something that is illegal.
So would you refuse these specific orders to strike drug boats if you were still in uniform?
Well, the difference between the initial strike and what is being reported, as a second strike, and those things are different. I think this administration has tied themselves in knots, the explanations that we have received on how this is all legal. And I was saying weeks ago, my concern is with the service members, that we're gonna put these individuals in a really, really tough decision, in a tough place. And they may find out, down the road that they did something that is illegal. It is not fair to them. That's why we need presidents and Secretary of Defense who understand the Constitution, who understand the rule of law, and have more respect for the Constitution and the country and service members than the whims of a president.
So that's wrapping yourself in the flag for what is seditious behavior. And quite simply, if this was because it's been designated as a terrorist organization, make no mistake, that changes the rules here, changes all the laws. If you're designated as a terrorist organization and you're operating in international waters, everything he just told you is bogus.
And to pretend that you care about the rule of law, I think that's the most infuriating part to me. Because they say, well, doing that, and your explanation's exactly right, but most people don't know that. I would contend most people don't know.
He wraps it up in the feels.
That's exactly right. He's like, we're so dedicated to the Constitution, and the president and the Secretary of War, they're not at all. You trying to tell me that the Democrats care about the law? We just talked about them going into Mar-a-Lago to protect Barack Obama for breaking the law.
So much of this is just cover. This is trying to create a scenario of don't look at us, look at them. Look at the administration. Look what they're doing. So after you have simply affiliated yourself as being pro-terrorist organization, because you're the only one defending these terrorists on the open water that are delivering product which eventually finds itself onto American streets.
And we know that. It's not like that's a secret.
No, that's the goal. I mean, you have a narco-terrorist state that is run by narco-terrorism. And so knowing this product eventually finds its way into your communities, then why are we fighting it there when we can be fighting it out in the ocean? It's the same concept as to why we sent our servicemen and women to Afghanistan. Let's take the fight to them.
Yeah, but look what the Democrats did with that.
Well, they definitely fouled it up in the end.
They retreated, got American soldiers killed, and brought people that hated this country to this country.
Let's bring them on in.
Let's bring them here.
They'll be compatible with us. It'll
no
be great.
vetting whatsoever. So everything they say is the exact opposite of what they do.
Again, in a world where you and I sit in a level of reality where what is it what Neil would go with, the Church of Painful Truth? Yeah. There's some times where you go, man, that sucks, but you got to hear it. In this case, what I would tell you, it's in a world where people are trying to move product that's going to kill American citizens. If you don't kill them the first time, I say kill them again.
Absolutely. I got no problem with what they're doing.
Look.
I think they should be doing
You didn't get all of them on the first strike.
Let's do it again.
Well, kill them again.
And if you are in a war zone, let's say you're fighting against the enemy in Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever we are. You're telling me you shot at the people that were rushing you to kill you and everybody in your platoon? You shot and killed most of them, but you wouldn't kill the rest because you didn't get them the first shot? That's insanity. Nobody thinks that's what can happen.
You don't understand. We missed bin Laden on the first attempts in Tora Bora. We stopped right there. No.
Of course not.
It's not how it works. And for those of you that are new to this show, first I'm Los, that's Tug, that's Jure. Tug, from his time in the Navy, will tell you they know all the drug routes.
Absolutely right.
Like the people operating at that area, it's like they ain't fishermen. All right? Like the Navy and the Coast Guard know the drug routes. If you're operating out there, they're like, you're running drugs.
You know, even the boats they use.
Yes.
The cigar boats typically that are lightning fast, that are incredibly evasive.
Not to drones.
Yeah, exactly. They can't get away.
No, not quite quicker than the drones.
It's not as easy as it used to be, because when I was aboard USS South Carolina and we were doing drug ops, we did not have drones, and we would just send out rib boats full of Navy SEALs and special ops guys to track them down after we got them pulled over. Drugs, and those boats now just get blown up by drones, which is I'm all in favor of.
It's an improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quicker, much quicker. And more effective, too. When we continue on Extra 106.3, the majority of the Democrats, the entire party, want a particular type candidate in 2028. Can you guess what type of candidate they want? Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 is proud to be a community station that shares your values. This is your station, talking about issues and stories that are most important to you and your family. Stream us live on our all-new app in crystal clear HD and always live on your radio at 106.3 FM.
The final day to submit someone for that big giveaway of James Hardy siding, the remodel, the full remodel. James Hardy siding for a friend, a family, somebody you go to church with, a veteran, a police officer, if you need it, today is the final day that you can go to southernexteriors.co and get a full-on siding remodel from Southern and from James Hardy Siding for no charge. They are taking care of that. It could be up to $30,000 depending on the size of your house. And it's so simple to register yourself or someone else for this Christmas give back. Go to southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co. Top left corner red button that says Christmas giveaway. This is your last call. Today is the final day to nominate someone for this incredible giveaway, this incredible gift for the Christmas holiday season. And I believe I'll be making the call on Friday to the winner of this. But you got to get your nomination in today. It is the final day. Today is the last day. southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garage.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Atlanta Braves single game tickets for the 2026 season are now on sale. Get your tickets for some exciting NL East matchups next season, plus great series against the Red Sox, Cubs, Dodgers, and more. And snag the first giveaway of the season, the Drake Baldwin Rookie of the Year bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola on March 31st during the opening homestand.
Baldwin sends one soaring, got a shot, and that is out of here.
And fans can also look forward to the return of some popular ticket packages, including Hello Kitty, Girls Night Out, and Father's Day Catch on the Field, which includes a 20-minute session on the field after the game to play catch. And the Braves are excited to also announce some brand new ticket packages honoring pop culture icons SpongeBob and Snoopy. And it's never too soon to plan your group outing. Great seats and hospitality spaces are also on sale. So visit Braves.com/promos to see more details and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Are you looking for health insurance? Georgia's got you covered. Georgia Access is our state's marketplace where you can compare, apply, and enroll for health insurance plans that offer the best value for your needs. Open enrollment is happening now. Visit georgiaaccess.gov today and choose the plan that's right for you. I'm Insurance Commissioner John King, and I'm proud to bring you health insurance for Georgia by Georgia.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, December 1st. Metro Atlanta police are sharing information about safety and scam prevention for the holiday shopping season. They warn in-person shoppers to shop in pairs or a group when possible, to park in well-lit areas, and to not leave any valuables in your car. Police also say to be on alert for online scams by sticking to reputable online retailers with secure payment options, and to schedule deliveries for a time when someone will be at home. Police also recommend doorbells with surveillance cameras to capture any package thieves. The city of Smyrna has approved a plan with the Cobb County School District to revamp the underutilized Campbell Middle School campus. The new plan includes renovating 15 acres, including the football and baseball fields, tennis courts, parking areas, and a green space. The new recreational areas will be allowed to be used by the community after school hours and on the weekends. And over 10,000 runners and walkers turned out for the 23rd annual Gobble Jog on Thanksgiving in Marietta. All proceeds of the Gobble Jog benefit Must Ministries. This year's event was expected to raise almost $700,000. Today's weather mostly cloudy and chilly with some scattered showers. The high is 51 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
I bet I don't have to tell you that the Democrat Party of 2025 into 2026 is not the Democrat Party of your grandparents or even your parents.
Or maybe your older brother.
Or maybe your older brother.
Things have changed.
Just, I mean, night and day, completely different.
That's Tug. I'm Los. We're not communists.
We reject communism. We reject socialism. We reject Marxism. If you're with us, welcome. If you're not, you're welcome too. And hopefully we're going to persuade you to not accept that type of that type of ideology, that type of political party.
And be like Dr. Phil says, don't do drugs.
And don't do drugs because you'll get blown up off the coast of Venezuela if you do. The old Democrat Party, at least, I mean, because there are classic liberals out there like Bill Maher, which I don't always agree with, but at least we all agreed on the basic liberties of the Constitution and what it provides. The party now is completely anti-American. Be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. The majority of Democrats for 2028, for the presidential election, 51% of Democrats say they want a socialist, a democratic socialist, a.k.a. communist, a.k.a. Marxist. It's all from the same tree. That's what they want to run in 2028, Los. It's unreal that we've gotten to the point. We had it, I don't know, it was probably the week before last, where now, it's not a disqualifier in the Democrat Party to be a socialist and want to run for office. It used to be a disqualifier. With your parents' and grandparents' Democrat Party, that was a disqualifier because it became the joke. We talk about my father-in-law all the time. When something doesn't go his way, TV doesn't work right, the beer can doesn't open the way it's supposed to, that's commie. That's what it used to be. It used to be the joke. Now it's the entire Democrat Party.
What have we talked about in the polling? We have talked about how Democrats don't see the number one issue as abortion any longer. They don't see it as climate change. They don't see it as the economy. They don't see it as security. They don't see it as crime. They see it as, are you fighting Donald Trump? That's their number one polling issue. That's why you ended up with a 43-day period where the government was shut down. That's the reason why you got that. They could fundraise off it because that's what energizes their base. Well, no wonder that something that is the antithesis of somebody who's pro-America ends up being what the majority of them are pulling for. If you're into the idea of having some sort of socialist, well, then that goes completely against the founding of this country, and that's what they're arguing for. Now, this is where I believe the left starts to have problems. Now it turns into, well, we need to find a black socialist. Why not just find the best socialist? No, we need a woman socialist. No. We might, better not be Jewish. Can't have that. This is where they start.
Can't be gay.
Right, can't be gay either. I mean, listen, we got to take our socialists as straight, but preferably of color. I mean, this is the game they start playing. And Bill Maher brought this up last week when he was on his show. We played some of the audio while you were out. He's telling Killer Mike and Donna Brazile, why can't we just find the best person for ourselves? And they're like, no.
Yeah, but that's a classic liberal way of thinking.
That's a classic liberal way of thinking versus what is going on now in the party.
Still some meritocracy in there. Hey, let's get the best guy for the job or the best woman for the job. Sure. The best person for the job, however you want to lay it out. But no, that's not what they want.
So it starts with, are you against the founding of this country? Are you against the current president? Check. Can we check the socialist box?
Check. And then there's like a what is it when you get the drop downs on
yes, the drop down menu.
Yeah, that's right. You have to pick all the different things that qualify you as the person that they would be able to vote for.
They would love to have another Barack Obama. And this is the difference when we talk about your older brother's Democrat Party versus what it is for you, what's in front of you. Barack Obama ran as the great uniter. And I thought it was interesting that there was a video from a discussion that Megyn Kelly was leading the other day. And she talked about how she looked at it as Donald Trump is a bad man, but was a great president. And then she's like, I looked at Barack Obama as being a good man, but a bad president. She's like, I've changed. It's a bad man and a bad president.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a socialist who was leading us towards this pushing of communist tactics and communist beliefs. But yet, because he put a smile on his face.
And he filled out an NCAA bracket.
And he picked basketball games for you in March. You went, he's a nice guy. It's wonderful. No, this is the big pushing of the party until Barack Obama era politics and power are rejected. This is what you're going to get from these people.
The answer to our problems is, deep-rooted economics that have failed in countries time after time after time. They've failed to uplift anybody. I mean, capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty than any other form of economics on earth that's ever existed. And yet these people want to emulate what's happening in Cuba, what's happening in Venezuela, what's happening in socialist nations across the country across the world as they fail, and time after time and again. And Los had the numbers. I don't remember. It's been forever ago.
$15,000 was the. I'm hoping that's the direction you were going. When it came to Venezuela, on average, they had the highest per capita income in terms of the developing world at $15,000 per person. It's now dropped to under $5,000 per. This was a place that was supposed to be a global paradise because of the oil industry, and that was going to create...
And was for a moment.
Yes, it was going to create an economic boom that was going to take them into like levels of Poland, where Poland is now, it ain't Poland from the Soviet Union days. Like Poland is very successful economically because of the way that they've developed their country and their resources. That was supposed to be Venezuela until it went communist.
And now is as poor as it's ever been, and there's no coming back. Unless the old saying is you can vote it in, talking about socialism, you can vote it in, but you got to shoot your way out of it. And right now, there's a threat of that. Donald Trump is talking. He actually spoke with Nicolas Maduro, gave him the ability to leave the country and turn it over to the people who probably won the election in their last election cycle anyway, which is an anti-socialist, anti-communist, a person that believes in capitalism and believes in the greatness that Venezuela once had. But will Maduro leave? Probably not. There's going to take more blowing up of drug boats, and maybe even, there's the discussion, I don't believe it'll happen, but there's a discussion of putting ground troops in Venezuela. I don't want it to happen because the last thing I want is another war for us to fight. But I understand the threats behind it, hopefully maneuvering to get Maduro out of power.
Well, you talk about the difference in where the Democrat Party is and their push towards socialism in 2028. You will continue to find white liberals, socialists, that are against any sort of intervention in Venezuela. You will continue to find Venezuelans that are like, please get involved here.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit difficult when the people that are from there or live there are like, please come get rid of this narco-terrorist state. We would like to be free, and you have that in your hemisphere. You're the one who brought it up. When we've had so much action that has gone on in that area of the world, that's not just for Venezuela. That's to let the Russians and the Chinese know you will not be operating in this hemisphere.
And that's what the Chinese want to do. They want to build, and there's already been discussion between the Venezuelan government and the Chinese government. We know that through intel gathering, that is the plan. The Chinese want to build a Navy base in Venezuela. The United States is not going to allow that to happen. You already have Russian munitions bunkers in Venezuela. So there's physical ammunition in that country that belongs to Russia. We are not going to allow it to happen. We can't allow it to happen for our own safety and security. So that's the reason you see Donald Trump being so tough on Venezuela. And I hope he continues it. And I hope they continue to bomb the daylights after every drug boat that comes out of there, because that's another country that may be paying attention is Mexico.
That's another one that's funny. And we can look at PMS now, and it is follow-up strike ordered on alleged drug boat.
Man. All of a sudden, they care about the rule of law.
Well, all of a sudden, it's an alleged drug boat.
Yeah, right.
No, those aren't party seekers.
Yeah, right.
Those aren't fishermen who've just wandered off course. Those are drug boats.
They know exactly what they are.
Alleged.
Our intel knows exactly. And the people at MS Now knows exactly what they are. Washington Post, they know exactly what it is. But their politics won't allow them to tell you the truth or tell their audience the truth.
They still would like to operate under the guise that, these are just fishermen. Again, you've been out there, Tug. You know the difference.
It's so obvious. The type of boats they use, the routes that they take, everything is to a T. It never deviates. It's always done the exact same way.
And by the way, you know what the local fishermen don't do? They're not in those boats and not taking those routes.
Exactly right. Because they also know. And they also know.
Everybody knows.
That's right. It's not a big surprise. It's not a big surprise. Not a big secret. Senator Slotkin is a person that was part of the seditious six, if you will, and continues this campaign.
Yeah, this was a month ago. A month ago, she gave a speech, and she was laying the groundwork for why do I call it an op, and I'm glad that you did too, that the violence that we saw in D.C. against our National Guards men and women, the reason we saw that is because you have a color revolution going on. There is an activation mode that is happening. I do believe that you have a weird relationship right now between the CIA and the Afghans that are here that worked for the CIA and were brought here on planes and were not vetted and then turned loose into this country. Firmly believe it. So Senator Slotkin, she's explaining that she's looking at this as a powder keg moment. How do we get, and she's almost basically pointing out, how do you get Trump out of office? She's like, well, we're going to need violence. Like, violence has got to be the key in order to do this. That's essentially what she's pointing out. But look at how she puts it under the guise of, well, we have something brewing.
As a CIA officer, the idea that intelligence officers could be asked to target Americans turns my stomach. And it would shift us into a modern-day surveillance state. Turning the federal government against Trump's enemies goes hand in hand with his use of force in American cities, both federal law enforcement and the military. As of today, the president has attempted to deploy more than 7,000 National Guard members across 5 cities, including right here in Washington. In August, the administration ordered the creation of 2 new National Guard units, a standing quick reaction force that can deploy anywhere in the country, and then separately, National Guard units in all 50 states focused on quelling so-called civil disturbances. At this point, Trump has been very clear about his intent. At Quantico, speaking as commander-in-chief, he instructed his military brass to use cities as, quote, training grounds. And many times, he's floated the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act so that military units can raid, detain, and arrest Americans.
Wait a minute. If I recall, that's already occurred.
Yes.
Under your administration, yes. Under your watch.
That's right.
That's how that played out. So let's not be Little Red Lying Hood on this one. This is what he's planning on doing. No, what he's also planning on doing, and I firmly back this, the violence that is occurring in these areas that have largely went socialist, the only way to restore it back to normal is by meeting it with National Guard or other law. Because the problem is, and this is what's so dirty about it, local law enforcement tells the police to stand down. And then when it comes to their judges, then they're told, well, you can't enforce the law, or make sure that everyone gets a light sentence, or make sure they're back on the street as quickly as possible. Yep. So the only way to restore law and order to these communities that are largely lawless is by having the federal authorities get involved.
And on top of that, when you have people that don't want to enforce the law, you're going to have to use that in every. There's not a situation where you're just going to ask people, hey, will you do the right thing? Will you make this right? Will you follow the law? And you know the answer is no. They are not going to. They refuse. They've made it clear. You had judges. Remember we had the judge out, was it Wisconsin, that had a man that was going to be deported because of crimes against actual American citizens, and she let him out the side door. That's what you're dealing with.
So you had this over the weekend in North Carolina. You're about to have laws that are kicking in that you will have mandatory minimums for violent criminal offenders.
No cash bail.
And the issue that you had with city officials talking about, we don't know how we're going to do this. We're going to flood our entirety of our system. It's like, you mean you're going to put criminals behind bars?
In prison?
Oh, weird. How strange that must be.
An odd concept for y'all to follow. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Trump would-be assassin Ryan Ruth was a State Department asset. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, December 1st. It's championship week in college football. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will once again be the site of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama. Each team survived tight games in rivalry week. Georgia's currently a 2.5-point favorite for this matchup Saturday afternoon. The Hawks, they play the second game of back-to-back tonight after a 142-134 double overtime win in Philadelphia last night. The Hawks are now in Detroit to play the Eastern Conference leading Pistons. That tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. Monday Night Football closes out Week 13 in the NFL as the New England Patriots host the New York Giants. The Giants will be with rookie starting quarterback Jackson Dart. He missed time with a concussion. That kickoff is set for 8:15. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina. Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
At the Honest Car Guy, the entire process is completely transparent. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee, and we even prove it by giving you a copy of the bill of sale. We can sell you any make, any year, any model, and at the Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all three are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsetc.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers with my dad, Mike. And Dad, how do you know you've got the right gift before you give it?
You get it at D. Geller & Son.
That's it?
That's it. We've been helping Atlanta get it right since 1939 with real jewelry experts to walk you through Atlanta's best selection.
Well, it's a no-brainer when you get here, but not everyone knows what to expect when they're shopping for jewelry.
Well, you can't let nerves talk you into getting a blender when she wanted diamonds. D. Geller & Son is all about making it easy. You don't need to dress up. You don't need to see a receptionist. We're just real people.
And if you're wondering what we have
everything, every style, every budget.
Whether it's silver and diamond stocking stuffers for $95, diamond hoops for $13.95, or one-of-a-kind showstoppers.
For the best selection, best quality, and best value.
Trust D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
Okay, who just opened your Obamacare or Marketplace renewal and almost fell off that chair? Hey, 35%, and it's not even any better? You're not crazy. They keep jacking the premium and giving you less. I don't know about this stuff, but I know who does. I go to Steven, the health insurance doctor. I send people there because he's been doing this 16 years. He wins awards for this stuff. He helps the self-employed, 1099, small business owners, the people actually paying for their own insurance. You bet you're going to get corporate-style coverage, nationwide PPO. How about lower zero deductibles, plans that pay you cash benefits when you use them? And he does it all around the year round there because, you know what, he's independent. He's got multiple carriers to quote. A lot of you are going to see that premium go right down instead of up. And in some cases, saving to 60% over that renewal number. He works for you, not Washington. Here's the number, 678-523-0759. 678-523-0759. Or go to healthinsurancedoctor.net. It's Steven, not a call center. Your plan, your savings, and tell him the Kibber sent you.
As the left's agenda continues to fail, the whining will only continue to get louder.
I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Extra 106.3 will continue to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Support our veterans and first responders and be the voice of your community when it matters most. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3, 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. You can find me at Tug Cowart, Los at Front Office Los, and Jure at Whiskey Click if you're looking for us on social media. I love to hear from you. Love when you reach out, and love when you're a part of the show. And if you're new to the show, thank you for being here. You're part of a growing number of people that keep coming in, and you're all welcome. You're welcome here anytime. Whether you like us, whether you agree with us, disagree with, doesn't matter. You're always welcome.
And I'm very happy that you're all back. We get several weeks together because I know a lot when it's holiday week, when it's Thanksgiving, people go off and do their things and check out different stuff. And
traveling.
It was still nice to have a lot of people that were listening and checking in on X. But now that we're all back, we have several weeks together. We got to get our holiday shopping done. We got to plan accordingly. And then by about the middle of the month, Tug and I are going to try and run an escape for a few weeks.
That's right. I'm telling you.
We're going to try and disappear off the face of the earth.
As quickly as I can. I mean, run. When you see the Roadrunner, that's me.
And have you had the discussion yet? Because Kimmer Show was ahead of the curve on this. So they already used one of their 2026 days for January 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
I think that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, no, I can't participate in that one.
Why not?
It's just we've got so many games that we want to travel to for my sons. It's just like you with volleyball, man.
I know. We've got a whole season coming.
You got to sock them away, man.
I know.
And with two, I don't know.
We've looked at the travel schedule. It's impossible.
Dude, I think the plan that you've worked out with our sister station is the most genius plan I've ever seen any employee work in my life.
The only thing that works for us this year, when it comes to the younger kids, my youngest is on 11 team. They're 11-1 over at A5. And A5, this is the first year when they're 11, they travel a lot more. They try to go to all the qualifiers. When they're 10, not quite so much. When they're 11, they do. Well, this year, the two major tournaments at the end of the year, AAUs and USAV, they overlap by a day in her age group. So
same city or no?
No.
Of course not.
So
why would it be in the same city?
But so you have to pick one or the other.
Right. Well, that means y'all got to divide and conquer.
Well, no. You have to pick one or the other. You can't do both. Because one tournament ends on the day the other start begins.
Oh, because in my head it was yes, all right. Yeah,
so
same kid, same tournament, same team.
That saves thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So that is a time where I'm like, don't need, because remember, if you remember last year when we had that, I was gone, came back for 2 days,
and then
was gone again.
Yes.
For another. So that's how it was. This year,
it actually overlaps.
It's actually going to overlap where we can't do it. So I'm like, that works better.
In my head, as you were explaining it, I was thinking two different kids, tournament overlap. So one of y'all go here, one the other.
One kid, two tournaments overlap. You have to pick one or the other, and it'll be USAV is the one that we'll go to, assuming we get in.
That's the most important.
That's right. One. It's a national qualifier. You need a bid in order to get into it.
Yeah, and my son's baseball over at Augusta University, it starts on January 31st.
Okay,
so that's the first game. I think it's a home game at Augusta, and from then it's 3 months of taking a Friday here.
Yes.
Or do you take a Wednesday and pop over and watch the Wednesday midweek game?
The midweek game.
Yeah. So we're trying to balance all that, trying to figure it out. That's the only reason I can't participate.
I always remember. We would always have either a Tuesday or Wednesday game followed by a weekend series.
That's right.
And that's the schedule that you go through for, depending on how many you play in tournaments and everything else, you'll have a good 50-plus game schedule where it's every single, except for the week of spring break where we played the entire week. And that was because teams would come from the north.
Yeah.
And so we'd have games nearly every single day.
Because they couldn't play up there.
Yes, they can't play up there yet.
Snow and icy and all that sort of stuff.
We would play all the Nebraska teams.
That's right, yeah.
They would all come
Michigan.
to Texas. Yeah, and they'd all come down. And the one benefit you had, you'd already been playing for like a month. You were way ahead of the game. Like, they might be playing their second game of the year, and you're on to game 15. You're like we're way ahead of these guys.
We're already in
ready.
mid-season form. Is it odd to you, Los, because I'll admit it is to me, that the person who committed the awful act, murdering the National Guardswoman up in D.C. and then shooting the other that's hopefully going to recover, but the one that we lost was a CIA asset. And now it's our understanding Ryan Ruth, who was the would-be Trump assassin, is a State Department asset. Odd how this keeps happening.
Mike Benz is the one who points this out, that Ryan Ruth ends up being a State Department asset. Now, how do we know this sort of stuff? Well, first off, what was very strange as of 2023, this is before the attempted assassination in Florida of Donald Trump. This man was trying to recruit Afghans to go fight in Ukraine. Now, that came across as crazy. We were like, first off, how is this guy traveling in this way? He doesn't have this sort of money. Like, well, where's he getting this money from? That got swept under the rug. Then it was, why is he trying to recruit former Afghan fighters to go fight in Ukraine? Is he just crazy? No, because we had a ton of former Afghan fighters that had worked for the CIA, and now it was a matter of, do you want to go do work over here? Was it on behalf of our government? I don't know. But this is a guy who knew we had a large supply of battle-hardened people that knew how to fight. And why don't we go work in Ukraine? Hey, you've already been working for the CIA. I'm putting together this outfit. Let's go fight over here.
That's right.
In the interest of American intelligence.
And I would have, look, I don't, it's impossible for me to say that the government knew exactly what was going on. Somebody did. Somebody in the government did. Somebody in the State Department did, or in the CIA did. That's how this guy knew to go round up these people. Ryan Ruth wasn't like this mastermind.
No.
He was being instructed on what to do, who to contact, and how to get them in the right direction to go. Because it was important for the Biden administration that the Ukrainian war was not lost. Remember, they said, we will do whatever it takes to win this war. That was straight out of Joe Biden's mouth.
So surprise, surprise, this U.S. State Department asset ends up on a golf course trying to kill the former president and would-be president. I know that there's a whole lot of tinfoil hats around here, but there's a point where this didn't stop with 34 convictions for felonies in New York. It didn't stop with an over-evaluation of your assets. That's what Letitia James was trying to pull. It didn't stop with Fonnie Willis here. It didn't stop with Jack Smith in Florida. This has just continued. It didn't stop in Butler, Pennsylvania. This is what it is. The government, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, continuing to try and eliminate the biggest system disruptor off the board, because they cannot be business as usual. Do you realize how many billions that this guy and Donald Trump has caused just with Elon Musk and Doge? How much a disruption to the system we have, and we'll get into it a little later in the show. Tim Walz is caught up in an awful scandal.
Holy cow.
Awful scandal.
Billions and billions of dollars.
Do you know how many terrorist organizations in Somalia right now wish they could kill Donald Trump because the amount of money that they're going to miss out on? This has cost people around the world billions of dollars because he's upset the Apple Card.
Interesting, too, that the Democrat Party really would like to see Donald Trump dead. And he cut off the money from USAID, too. And that was funding all the Democrat campaigns.
All those NGOs that run all this stuff.
Odd that when the money gets cut off, all of a sudden, it's, hey, how do we get rid of Donald Trump?
Strange, isn't it?
Yes,
that tinfoil hat you're wearing, Tug. I mean, it's. I hope it fits.
Problem is, tinfoil hat people continue to be right.
Oh, we're betting like $9.95 in a league that bats like 200.
Just saying.
Weird how a guy who's a State Department asset just happened to be on a golf course chilling for hours trying to kill Donald Trump. And now that he's been arrested, now that this is all played out, it's funny how they've kind of buried him away, right?
Not going to mention his name anymore. Why would they?
While he was trying to recruit Afghan fighters to go with him to Ukraine.
Fucking nuts. With no money in the bank. Unbelievable that the tinfoil hats continue to be right more than they're wrong. When we continue the vetting process for Afghans, following the retreat from Afghanistan was very similar to the vetting on the southern border. You know what happened there. That is next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I know I've complained about this before, but it's really irritating how much the media in this country will deliberately or carelessly lie, all in an effort to promote a certain, usually leftist agenda. For instance, it doesn't take any research at all, a third grader could do it, to know that this country was not supposed to be a democracy. The word does not appear in the Constitution of any state or the Constitution of the United States or the Declaration of Independence. Our founders hated democracy, and the media knows this, but they continue to promote the idea. In another commentary, I guess, I'll tell you why they do this. Another one, racism. These professional journalists and headline writers should know it's easily discoverable, the definition of racist or racism. But they continue to abuse that. Why? Because it is in their interest in promoting their agenda to keep black victimization on the table in America. Fuzzy Zoeller died. He's a professional golfer. Great guy. Funny. Here's just one of the headlines. Fuzzy Zoeller, two-time major champion, haunted by racist joke about Tiger Woods, has died at 74. Racist joke, my Obama. What did Fuzzy Zoeller say? He wondered if Tiger Woods would serve fried chicken at the Champions Dinner the year after he won the Masters. That was supposed to be racist? The definition of racist, which the progressive media ignores, is the belief in the inherent or genetic inferiority of one race when compared to another. Suggesting that somebody likes fried chicken does not mean that some race is inferior to another. I'm sick of it, but the media will keep doing it. It promotes their agenda. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, Trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Talking to Russia and Ukraine trying to end their war. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We don't just want to end the war, we also want to help Ukraine be safe forever, so never again will they face another invasion.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, after another round of talks over the weekend with Ukrainians, he called very productive.
Today, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is heading to Moscow. He'll have meetings with Russian officials later this week. It comes as the White House is pushing hard, both privately and publicly, to reach a peace deal before the end of this year. The president has urged Ukraine to cede some of its territory to get a deal over the finish line.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. On his way back there on Air Force One, the president talked to reporters about Venezuela, confirming a report he did talk to leader Nicolas Maduro.
I wouldn't say it went well or badly. It was a phone call.
And he said this when asked about a Truth Social post over the weekend that airspace over Venezuela is closed.
Don't read anything into it.
The president also gave his support to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, backing his denial of a report that during the U.S. military operation blowing up drug trafficking boats off Venezuela's coast, there was a second strike on one boat, killing survivors of the first bombing. Some lawmakers in Congress want an investigation. Now an update on an Afghan national, Ramanola Lakhanwal, suspected of attacking 2 National Guard members on patrol in Washington, D.C. last week. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tells ABC's This Week.
We believe he was radicalized since he's been here in this country.
Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition. The other soldier shot, Sarah Beckstrom, died on Thanksgiving. It's a better morning at airports with about 165 flights canceled after a rough Sunday after Thanksgiving. One of the busiest travel days of the year, especially in the Midwest. There were 12,000 flights delayed, more than 1,000 canceled, half of them to and from Chicago.
Historic for this time of year, really. Downtown, where I'm at, about 8 inches plus in total. And what did that cause? Well, a ton of issues locally.
Fox Weather's Robert Ray. There were hundreds of car crashes, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa. America's listening to Fox News.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Did not expect for Georgia to end up in the SEC championship game, yet that's exactly what's going to happen on Saturday.
Does this mean you're going to have to find, as Sweet Tug, S-U-I-T-E Tug, your way into this ball game?
Well, I'm going to try, but my cousin Nick.
Right, the Dr. Pepper.
Got the Dr. Pepper. Although, he's got a client that's in front of me. He's like, I got a client I got to take. If they, for some reason,
the Heinz Empress,
yeah, something like that. If they, Lance, because those Lance toasted cheese crackers are gonna be the Lance Harris.
Lance Snack Foods.
That's right.
Dr. Pepper doing big business. I noticed when they were previewing all the games, the SEC championship is the only one that has a presenting sponsor.
That's right,
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, and so one of his biggest clients down there is Dr. Pepper. So I have a client in front of me, but if client decides, hey, I don't want to go, then like last year, I'll get to go.
The reason why I can never run for office is in part, and I talked about this last week, was because years ago I used to go get football picks from homeless people. And at one point,
still funny,
we were sponsored by a snack food company.
Ooh.
And I would have people who were down on their luck, having a tough time, after they would pick games. And again, the exercise was to show betting is dumb.
Give me Alabama to cover.
That's, yes. I had one guy still remember.
Like you used to listen to the segment or something.
He picked Clemson because he liked Tiger Paws.
What's that mean?
This is on the helmet for Clemson.
Oh, got it. I was like,
he liked Tiger Paws, so that's why he
cool.
So he picked Clemson, and for 2 years, the homeless football picks beat every other show host on that show.
I love it.
In total.
I love it. I don't know what it tells me, but I love it.
And the tagline that people would read were, picking games is easy, satisfying your hunger is hard, choose blank snack foods.
Wowzers. And they went right along with it. They're fine with it.
They get some free food out of that. Everybody was happy.
Yeah.
Of course, looking back on it 20 years later, people would not probably find it as funny as I did at the time.
No, I think you'd be just fine. You know what? These days...
Dude, I'll bring one up to you and you see how funny you think it is.
Can we play it? Probably not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. At least cancel culture is dying.
Yeah,
Angela Borbito, who joined us last week.
Gosh, I love her. She's so sweet.
She penned an article in conjunction with one other person that she worked with about the death of woke, the end of woke, and how woke has retreated largely into academia. That it's no longer being pushed in your offices. It's hard right now to have woke in corporate America. And so now it's retreated into, well, this isn't being done anymore in the private sector. so let's go hide out in the university level. Well, if this was a different time period, like let's say 2020, 2021, I'd be like, that audio of mine doesn't exist. Now I'm like, funny's funny, right?
Yeah, right. Come on.
Funny's funny.
Come on, right, Spike? Right.
Come on. Just picking, you're doing picking football games with somebody who, might have a little bit of a mental issue.
Yeah.
But they keep winning.
And they kept getting it right.
They kept getting it right.
Including more than, like you said, more than the people that get paid to do it.
I mean, the show hosts on that particular program had access to all the data in the world, yet they couldn't beat people on the street. What does that tell you about gambling against the spread?
Yeah. Goodness. I love it. I love the fact you did it, though. I think it's funny. I think it
was a different time.
Yeah.
Got a pack of Marlboro Reds on Ohio State.
First off, the way you said that, way better than how they said it. Okay, a little more accurate.
This is late night or early morning interview.
Or this is always. I would finish the show and head over there. I would be there right around like noon to 1 o'clock.
Oh, you got during that time.
And it was me and I guess it's Woodruff Park.
Oh, wow, dude. Yeah. Goodness. Things
have changed a little bit. Maybe you haven't heard much shining shoes anymore.
That's right. Or maybe they're getting back to where they used to
shine
be.
box.
Just where things were normal and you could say things.
It was a different time.
It was completely. But,
it was a better time.
See, that's the
thing. The nice part about Trump's America.
Yeah, right.
We're back to being able to joke.
Yeah. That's the one thing.
Including Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, right. Let me tell you, dude. That guy, he is he's a guy that I have so much respect for because he's been called everything in the world. He's been told that he was just a weekend talk show host, that he had no ability, that he had no business even in the position that he landed in.
You know what the first thing that shocked the left is when they found out what a week show personality on Fox News made.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. He's making $2 million? And I'm like, yeah, and you're being paid $40,000 to write about it.
What do you think about that?
What do you think about that? You want to talk about the first level of anger? The first level of anger was right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing that drives me crazy about what we're seeing, especially with the murder, the death of the National Guard's troops up in D.C., is that the Afghans that were brought in after we retreated from Afghanistan in embarrassing fashion under the Biden administration with no plan, which they finally admitted. Because it blew up so badly and it looked so terrible for America and the administration. They admitted, yeah, we didn't really have a plan. We just knew that's what we wanted to do, and we just did it. No plan installed.
Well, they had a plan in mind. You had a plan that was put together by the Trump administration. Here are the dates. Here's what we're doing. And as Trump had pointed out to Afghan leadership when it came to Taliban leadership, if you harm one American, here's where you live. This is what we're going to do to you. And that's why you didn't have any violence against Americans during that time period. But then you saw that the Biden administration wanted a signature victory. So you decided to pull the troops out early. You just gave it, here's a new arbitrary date, here's what we're doing. And you left behind billions of dollars in equipment. And
that's now being used and put on display in parades.
You left Americans behind. But then one of the other parts we were brought up was you left behind American assets. We were told people that helped the United States, well, now they're being hunted and killed by the Taliban. Well, it turns out not all the ones you brought over here were that friendly to us anyway.
And that's because there was zero vetting done of those Afghans. No vetting done whatsoever. The systems in place had incomplete information at very best. And then the systems in place from the United States, like the CIA's system, didn't talk to the DHS's system. They had no communication between agencies in the United States government, and then the information they did get was faulty to begin with. There was no vetting done. It was just like the southern border. Y'all come on. Everybody come on in. It's fine. It's fine in the water. Come on in.
When we've had the amount of people that have blown the whistle and said, listen, there's active terrorists or people on terrorist watch lists that were allowed in this country through the southern border, the Biden administration largely swept it under the rug. It was, that's not true. And then the news media carried the water for that.
Yeah, they did.
No, they were checked. Remember, the last one that we had was J.D. Vance. And he's having to argue on television like we didn't vet these people at the border. We didn't vet these people when they came in from Afghanistan. Oh, of course we did, JD. That's what you're just saying. It's like, no, I'm telling you, we don't know who these people are, or we don't know what their affiliations are.
And again, we were right. You knew it, I knew it. There wasn't a chance they were vetting these people because of how chaotic and how quickly everything came down. Just as Los was saying, they wanted the signature victory. What did they do? They stepped in a signature loss. It was embarrassing for every layer of the United States, from the military, the government, and every citizen.
And so what did you get from there? What did you get from Abbey Gate and the failure that occurred in Afghanistan and how embarrassing it was to the administration? Well, I mean, down the road, you got a National Guardswoman shot and killed. But what else did you get? In September of that year, after the failure that happened in Afghanistan, this administration was trying to get a victory, trying to act like they were tough, and that's when they introduced all the hardcore COVID policies on you. That's when that occurred, was in September of 2021, to show you, look, we're hard on this stuff. That's when the president came out and mumbled his way through, well, we've run out of patience, and basically we're going to use the power of OSHA to crack down on you, because then that made the left go, yeah, finally, get those unvaccinated monsters. That was their response to having 13 people die in Afghanistan.
Authoritarianism.
And bringing these nutcases, in some case, over from Afghanistan. Their answer to this was, as authoritarians really do, let's crack down on people.
You said nutcases in some case. There's no telling right now if it weren't in all cases, dude, because they don't know. Still to this moment, we don't know. We have no idea who's here. And that's they could all be completely crazy, and it wouldn't surprise me. And here's the thing, even if they came here and they weren't, just like the man that shot the National Guardsman, they were radicalized. It's being reported. Kristen Noem even said it. They were radicalized when they got here. Why would that happen? Because we've brought so many crazies to this country that we've built up a community of crazies that hate America and hate the way Americans live. So when that person gets here, say, I work with the CIA, they're like, well, we've got to make sure you're fixed. We got to make sure that you commit to this leftist, this crazy, this Islamist way of thinking.
I'm not a big fan, you know this, I'm not a big fan of like whitewashing stuff and being like, it's all of everybody. But it does cause you to have to look at your policy and say, as we've now seen under this Trump administration, if you're bringing people from countries that are not friendly to the United States, why would we firmly believe every one of them is going to be friendly towards the United States?
And the difference is they didn't vet, so we don't know. We have no idea. You're right. Some of the people that came here may genuinely want to be American citizens. They want to assimilate. They want to speak English. They want to work hard and progress in American society, get married, have kids, and be peaceful and love this country, love the fact that they're out of a war zone in Afghanistan. But I wouldn't know that.
Like, I would love everybody to be Elon Musk. It's like, you came here from South Africa, you love the country, you believe in the founding elements of this country, you believe in free speech, you believe in the Second Amendment. Oh, by the way, you're also big into ingenuity and pushing this country into the future. Like, I'd love that to be the case.
Oh, sure, of course.
But then I have to start with, how about I just get people from a country that look at the United States as being a worthwhile experiment rather than, I can't stand them, but now I'm going there.
And that's why Donald Trump has stopped all immigration to the United States. All of it.
Yes, if it's third world oriented,
we're not bringing
slamming on the brakes here.
And rightfully so. If you're going to be a net negative on the United States of America, we can't bring you here.
Well, and that is why we've now seen 21 states. This is an article from Politico that are now suing the administration and Donald Trump because, wait a minute, what do you mean you're going to have SNAP benefit requirements that are based on legal standing in this country? It's like, well, yeah, you just can't give money away to people that are here illegally.
We have been in Somalia. We've been sending it to Somalia so much. What do you mean?
But I was told that we weren't giving benefits away to illegals, right? I mean, how long did liberals try and live in that make-a-believe world where this money and these inducements to get here, stay here, did not exist?
Years and years. The Democrats are hell-bent on destroying the country that you live in and the life that you have. They despise it. We talked about it earlier. They've already said, The majority of young Democrat voters want a Democrat socialist as their candidate in 2028. You think that's to keep the country the same way that it is? The way that it's always been? Hell no, it's not. It's we want to change it and mold it the way we see fit, top-down power structure.
Can I expose that make-a-believe world? Because I think this really ties in well with Piers Morgan on Surrounded. So over the weekend, we had the internal memo from the FDA that we've had at least 9 children that died of the mRNA vaccination. You're like, wait a minute, we had 10 children that died? It then caused people to relook again. Moderna's own testing had a child die within their own clinical tests. It's like, well, it did this? Well, now, can't wait till they look into the miscarriage information. But I talk about liberals creating their own psychology, their own world. And Piers Morgan, when he was on Surrounded, was having a discussion, an argument with one liberal. And this was a person who firmly believed, like Tug, I knew of one person in sports radio who left the industry because they're like, you're getting this shot. Cumulus required it. He's like, I'm not getting that shot. Mm-hmm. And that person was out of a job. How many times did we talk about military members that were gone?
And dozens and dozens.
For 3 years, you were told, you're out. Your career is over. You don't want to get this? Well, I don't want an experimental government vaccine stuck in my arm. Well, you got to go. We've talked about turbo cancers. We talked about all the stuff that this occurs.
Which we saw a kid in our own friend group that suffered from a turbo cancer.
I've had a friend of mine who was significantly younger than I am, died so quickly. I mean,
Carolyn Ryan, a friend of the show. You see her on Newsmax and on the First Network. Her brother. She's talked about it openly.
Yeah,
she shares
took
it.
the shot, died.
That's right. And he was like 40 years old.
By the way, our friend Stephanie, I still remember back when this was rolling out. She was like, the people that we know from their group where she was like, heart attack, dead. It's like people that are in shape. It's like heart attack, dead, gone. Like within 48 hours of this thing. And yet you were told none of that exists. But for that doesn't exist in the liberal world. What does exist is when you're called on the carpet for it to explain this, listen to what Piers Morgan had to put up with from this person who's created their own reality.
I'm guilty of this myself. I'm not saying I'm whiter than white about this.
So masks are woke?
No, they can be. The woke mentality. I'll explain why. When a government says that if you're seen without a mask during a pandemic, you can be fined or punished.
Piers, you're way too smart to believe this.
Wait a minute. I'm giving you the argument which I ended up accepting, right? Which is in a fast-moving pandemic, when the scientific advice changes so rapidly, I fell victim to this myself. I was very censorious of people. But you can't deny that the state had a mindset of you will conform or we will punish you. And it turned out they were making people...
That's simply not true.
It is true.
You may have felt uncomfortable being unmasked in public because people would say, hey, be courteous to other people.
I didn't.
Nobody got fired.
I didn't.
Nobody lost their job. Nobody got
people did get fired and did lose their job.
All that stuff got overturned.
No,
because we are a nation of laws.
People did get fired. They all lost their jobs for not wearing a mask. They were told they couldn't come to work.
Who?
Thousands of people.
Okay, so these nebulous people lost their job.
Nick, to be clear, you don't think anybody lost their job in the pandemic for refusing to wear a mask or refusing to be vaccinated?
I think that people who were in public-facing situations where they could have easily taken a scientifically proven preemptive measure.
It wasn't proven.
Yes, it was.
No, it turned out not to be proven. That's my point.
Talk about creating your own reality. Again, all the Afghans are fine.
Southern border's closed.
Southern border's closed. The FDA, listen, they're about your best interest. Dr. Fauci's totally great. Listen to that young person who spouts off one lie after another that it's clearly not correct. And yet he's telling Piers Morgan this as if Piers Morgan is dumb or didn't notice.
And talked about anybody that was fired were reinstated because it was overturned. If it was overturned, it had to have happened. Right? Am I crazy?
It was only when you had a new administration came in and apologized to our servicemen and women and said, come back in with back pay. And it took 3 years. And not all of them came back.
And then he used it was scientifically proven, talking about the vaccine.
Right. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, not at all.
Those are the two things that stood out to me most about that cut that made no sense whatsoever.
What did I say? They create their own reality. That guy lives in a totally different world that actually is taking away realism and experience and flushing it down the drain.
One other thing that you started with that I want to end with. Who's volunteering their child for a vax trial?
You have to be some level of fanatic.
As you said, there was a child that died during the trials, the Moderna trials. I can't imagine being the parent that said, hey, yeah, test it on my kid.
You can go into the story of
crazy.
Was it Maddie McGray, who's now permanently disabled because of that, because they went with we're starting a trial, and this will allow her to get back to life as regular. No, the more we're going to find, hopefully this is the one that breaks the dam on all this stuff.
Our success is our own worst enemy. Next on Storytime with Los. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. Call Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
Extra 106.3 is Atlanta's home for NASCAR, and we have live races every weekend from across the country. Check out extra1063.com for the full schedule and join us this weekend for live NASCAR action.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers. You know how I do love Howard Brothers. Again, they make every season really great when it comes to all the equipment that I go in there and buy, especially when it came to the grilling equipment. Well, let me also tell you about some of the other stuff that they have available for you. This Christmas, forget about the sweaters, the socks, the bad tie. Give your loved one something that's going to matter. That would be an Exmark mower from Howard Brothers. Whether you're treating yourself or if you're surprising someone who loves a perfect lawn, an Exmark brings pro-level performance and power all year long, and it looks great under the Christmas tree. Throw a little bow on it. People who are avid about their lawns, they're going to recognize what exactly they have there. Visit Howard Brothers near you. The friendly folks there can help you get set up with the best Exmark gift, the right equipment for your needs or for the needs of that loved one. Merry Christmas from Exmark and Howard Brothers.
The holidays are about moments that last forever. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, every piece of jewelry tells a story, your story. Whether it's a sparkling engagement ring or a gift that says, I love you, we're here to make this season magical with exclusive holiday offers you won't want to miss. From bezel set jewelry in trendy yellow gold to essentials for that layered look. Explore our holiday gift guides or schedule your appointment at SolomonBrothers.com. And don't forget to check out our holiday specials like our famous diamond studs starting at $9.99. It seems like every year, everything gets more expensive, except here. A 3/4 carat diamond pendant for just $14.99. 3 Atlanta locations in Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg. One tradition of excellence. Book your customized shopping experience today at SolomonBrothers.com. Solomon Brothers, where luxury meets love.
So, the doc says I have ED. ED. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just an abbreviation for a condition so many men have. If I was to be honest, I probably also have a little OCD. I know I have a great HMO. Heck, I even have 3 weeks of PTO. Look, don't let a few letters get you down. If you have ED, there's HELP. Go see Dr. Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He's an ED specialist that will turn your life around PDQ. ED happens to a lot of men as we age. And just FYI, Dr. Deal can give you back the confidence you need to perform on the JOB. So, ready to take the first step? Quit yelling WTF at your little BFF and visit tbtofga.com. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can fix your ED ASAP. And before you know it, you'll be screaming OMG.
I'm getting in the game. The world won't be the same. I'm good to go.
Call 404-777-1911 or visit tbtofga.com.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, my buddy Jeff, the owner of Peach State Windows, he's been taking care of Georgia homeowners for almost 50 years. That's 5 decades of knowing exactly how to protect our homes from Georgia's heat and storms and everything else Mother Nature throws at us. When it comes to siding, these are the guys you want. Now, you're going to see ads from other companies waving around but look like the same kind of special offers and deals. Well, don't be fooled. Nobody brings the experience and quality that Jeff's team does. And right now, they've got an incredible deal. 1,000 square feet of durable hardy plank siding installed for just $49.95. Yep, 1,000 square feet of siding for under $5,000. On top of that, with good credit, you can take advantage of no money down and 0% financing for 12 months. Don't forget, say Kimmer sent you. You'll unlock special savings just for Extra 106.3 listeners. Check them out today. PeachStateWindows.com. Again, that's PeachStateWindows.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, December 1st. Metro Atlanta police are sharing information about safety and scam prevention for the holiday shopping season. They warn in-person shoppers to shop in pairs or a group when possible, to park in well-lit areas, and to not leave any valuables in your car. Police also say to be on alert for online scams by sticking to reputable online retailers with secure payment options, and to schedule deliveries for a time when someone will be at home. Police also recommend doorbells with surveillance cameras to capture any package thieves. The city of Smyrna has approved a plan with the Cobb County School District to revamp the underutilized Campbell Middle School campus. The new plan includes renovating 15 acres, including the football and baseball fields, tennis courts, parking areas, and a green space. The new recreational areas will be allowed to be used by the community after school hours and on the weekends. And over 10,000 runners and walkers turned out for the 23rd annual Gobble Jog on Thanksgiving in Marietta. All proceeds of the Gobble Jog benefit Must Ministries. This year's event was expected to raise almost $700,000. Today's weather, mostly cloudy and chilly with some scattered showers. The high is 51 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
I know the kids are out of school right now, but that doesn't mean you have to take time off from learning. Get your pencil, get your pen, piece of paper, get a notepad, get out your phone and open your notes, whatever you need to do. Get prepared to learn. It's story time.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Thank you to Good Clean Jure. Glad you're back, sir. Thank you to Good Strong Tug. I'm glad you're back as well. And thank you, America. Let's do this story time. If you want to read about this, you want a book that will have everybody kind of look at you very strangely. Maybe you're on MARTA, or maybe you're just at the pool, or maybe you just happen to be around your coworkers. You're just grabbing a little bit of lunch, and they're all, "Hey, what are you reading there?" Well, you can find Lee Allen Duckerton, and he wrote a book called Dr. Calhoun's Mousery.
What?
Like, what? Dr. Calhoun's Mousery. It's actually listed as the strange tale of a celebrated scientist, a rodent dystopia, and the future of humanity. This is one of those stories for story time where you always have people trying to draw parallels. I'm constantly doing that. When have we had moments in history that repeat or echo, and what does it mean for society? And what we're now seeing with the rise of AI is that I think we've all taken a little bit of a step back and saying, where exactly is society going? When we have this push from one side of the aisle towards communism, socialism, you have another push towards absolute freedom and nationalism. Where exactly are we going? And this is at least is a good study from the 1960s into the 1970s that kind of gives you an idea as to how does your society fall apart. So here's what Dr. Calhoun had. You have to go back to the 1960s and the 1970s. What he had was a study that started in 1968 called Universe 25. And what was this study? What he was trying to do was use mice as an example of what happens in culture. Now, what did Dr. Calhoun do with mice? Well, he actually created what he thought was going to be a perfect society. And as he puts it, mice will sometimes, in the medical field, like mice lie. That's one of the old languages. But it will sometimes be an indicator of what can go on, whether it's in medicine or whether it's in society. And so what did Dr. Calhoun do? He created a situation where he protected this group of mice from predators and disease. They were not tested with anything. They weren't plugged with anything. Wasn't like they were around a bunch of cats. Meow. And they were given an environment in which they would be living in 68 degrees, which for mice, that was ideal. He also provided them unlimited food, unlimited water, nesting materials, adequate space for projected maximum protection. So what did the mice have? Everything. Everything a mice would want. Everything they could possibly have, they had. And what occurred? Well, it started off with just a small amount of mice. It's 4 pairs of breeding mice. And quickly, as mice do, they started to breed and breed and breed and breed. Now, the argument of this has long been, well, this is what happens when there's too many people in society. That's the way that the sadists look at it, the global warmists look at it, the people that are really big into climate. But that's not really what the story is. The story is what happens to a society when it's too comfortable, when everything is set up for you. So, for instance, in phase 1, the first basically year of this, normal population growth with successful breeding and establishment of social hierarchies. Suddenly, the mice started deciding who was in charge and where you were going to fit in mice society. Over the next year, rapid population and expansion. Density increased, social pressures began to emerge. And what occurs over basically what ends up being the next 2 to 3 years is, remember, society, you have all the food, you have all the nesting, you have everything you could possibly want. You have all the protection. Easy life for a mouse, right? Well, those hierarchies became rigid. You had wretches that occurred. What they were considered was outcasts. And so even though some of the mice had all this food, some of them started turning on one another. It became a bigger deal to, well, let me eat that mouse. Wait a minute, you got all the food you want, you got all the water. Why are you doing that? Because it's time to eat the other one. Think about crime in our society. You've got all this, and we're always told by the left, well, like the mayor of Seattle, well, you don't know what that person's been through. They might have been arrested 6 or 7 times. They might have been trying to get bread for their family like it's Les Mis. Or maybe they're just one of the outcast wretched, as we found with this mouse study. Now, what else occurred? You also had then male mice that were treated. They decided, well, they can just groom themselves all day and they won't breed. What do we have with, whether it's by choice or not, the incels in our society, the young men who have decided, I'm not dating, I'm not marrying, I'm just going to
sit in the basement and play video games.
I'm just going to play my video games and I'm going to watch Instagram, and this is what I'm going to do. What also happened to the women in this society? The female mice then became violent towards their children. What do we have going on in society today? Not only a lack of childbirth, but then a rise in the amount of in-home violence that we see with some of these mothers, especially young, uneducated mothers that are part of this. So here's ultimately what occurred with this study. By the time they got to day 600 and onward, so we're now 2 years solid into this, population collapses and never recovers. Extinction occurred on day 1588. So they still basically had this run of like 3 years, but all of the norms of mouse society were gone. There were no longer the structure of the society. They were no longer breeding to the level that they were supposed to be. They were no longer creating a society that was going to flourish. It died out. The last mouse died out on day 1588. And so this study, as much as some people want to say, well, look, it was overcrowding. No, this study was about comfort and what comfort deals out. And what comfort deals out, in many cases in humanity, is destruction. That's the problem. That's the area that we're teetering on of, we have this level of comfort, yet there are forces that just by human nature don't want to be comfortable. They can't be. They become self-destructive in this way. You talked about the numbers, 51% of Democrats that want socialism. Why? Because the world is too comfortable in a one-bedroom apartment with a PlayStation 5 and a cell phone and all the food that you can get from the government. They want a different level of life, and what it leads to is destruction. That's what Dr. Calhoun is basically pointing out to you. It's not about overcrowding. It's about what happens when a society is so comfortable that this is what they do.
Our own success has been our biggest enemy.
Yes.
And It's funny you wrote down, or I wrote down as you were telling me the story, and I hate to take it back to football. But,
I love when you do it with football. It makes it even easier to understand.
But I heard Kirby Smart 2 weeks ago. He said, choosing easy. If you choosing easy, hard will find you. And it's almost what that is.
Yes.
Those mice were given the easiest life that they could possibly have. And what happened? Hard found them. And it's almost like strong men create good times create soft men create poor times or hard times.
So in Dr. Calhoun's study, he had what he called the beautiful mice. You're like, well, what is the beautiful mice? Well, these weren't the working class version of mice. They were a certain level of mice that they had chosen comfort above all. And as it notes, these were males who withdrew, and as far as spending time around really any other mice, all they would do is groom themselves, eat, and sleep. And so by the time danger came for them, they didn't fight back. They didn't know how.
Because, they had never faced adversity. So there was no understanding of how to defend themselves, protect themselves.
There was no mouse instinct. Yet, one of the great points that I heard made on the Joe Rogan podcast, I'm trying to remember the guest that he had, and he was talking about how right now society is basically having this fight between safe spaces and octagons. It's like, you choose which one you want. Or do you choose to be a fighter? Do you choose to, not octagon in the sense of like, now you got to beat people up, but it's, you choose to put a helmet on, go to work and do your stuff?
Yeah.
Or do you choose to be the beautiful mouse? Do you want the safe space? And
that'll last for just a little while.
That'll last for just
1,500 days, maybe.
In fact, it will require men like Tug and Sheree, and sometimes myself, to make that space available for you. But eventually, we're not there to make it for you. It's left up to you, and you don't have the ability to do anything about it. You can't protect it. You don't know how to handle it.
Think about our World War II generation.
As they die out.
And what's happening in the United States of America right now.
We have an entire culture of beautiful mice. Especially, and this is where we saw the difference in what happened with Trump 2024. The amount of men that don't want to be beautiful mice. Whereas the left, that's all they want you to be. Be the beautiful mice. Be the beautiful mouse. Don't be masculine. Don't be the hunter, the provider, the protector. That suddenly makes you problematic to the society. No, the beautiful mouse, the male that just sleeps, eats, and grooms himself all day is the problem.
That's exactly right. And I would even liken it to going to college versus choosing a trade. Going to college, and that's the easy life. Going to class, you take notes, you listen to the professor, and you regurgitate what you've been taught. Or you go to a trade school and you learn how to wire up things. Maybe you shock yourself a time or two, but you learn how to wire up the house. And then that provides you an opportunity for the rest of your life, where now at this point, most people are saying college isn't even worth it anymore because of the debt you incur and the things that you don't learn how to do. It's the easy route versus the more difficult hands-on route.
Well, what I would point out is that the decision, and I remember being in arguments.
My son's in college, but I want him to be able to work with his hands as soon as he's done, as we talked about with Dr. McCormick. I didn't mean to cut you off, but...
Oh, no, but one of the arguments that I've had years ago was with a far leftist loon, and I point him out that way because looking back on it, I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's how crazy you were? I'm sitting there arguing about, as he wants me to pay for his health care. I'm like, I had to go find the position that pays for health care. I'm like, why have I chosen to make that a personal responsibility and you don't? Well, because he wanted to be the beautiful mouse. I was the one
who was willing to get your hands dirty.
Who was looking to get my hands dirty. And so, yeah, like we can always make college and trades, but some people just choose to take personal responsibility and some do not. And that's what Dr. Calhoun and his mouse study found, is that when there is a level of abundance, we become our own worst enemy because of stuff that we tolerate. If you have a beautiful mouse in your family, you better give him a little talking to. Because one of the things that I learned when I was watching Piers Morgan when he was on Surrounded, one guy was on there, and I ended up putting it down on Twitter. And he's sitting there talking about the benefits of the therapy he's gotten. Well, I talk to somebody all the time. I mean, wouldn't you benefit from this? And Piers Morgan's like, no, I don't think you understand. The goal is to not need that.
That's right.
It's like the goal is to not need therapy. The goal is that you are able to handle the trials and tribulations of life, that you don't have to go speak to somebody. Now, I get it. There are people that deal with a whole lot of stuff. They find some comfort in it. Good.
But it's not for everybody. It's not meant to be for the entire population.
The goal is to not need
That's right.
to have to do that. That you can handle what life is better than what you did the day before, where you don't need such things. But they want you to be a beautiful mouse where you need all this stuff. Don't be a beautiful mouse.
Ever.
That
is Story Time with Front Office Los. One of the best segments that we do each week here on Xtra 106.3. If you missed it, go back and listen to it on the Xtra 106.3 app. It is always available there for you. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. Call Chuck and his team at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. When we come back, your tax dollars were used to support Somali terrorism. I'm not kidding. Next on Xtra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, December 1st. It's championship week in college football. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will once again be the site of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama. Each team survived tight games in rivalry week. Georgia's currently a 2.5-point favorite for this matchup Saturday afternoon. The Hawks, they play the second game of a back-to-back tonight after a 142-134 double overtime win in Philadelphia last night. The Hawks are now in Detroit to play the Eastern Conference leading Pistons. That tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. Monday Night Football closes out Week 13 in the NFL as the New England Patriots host the New York Giants. The Giants will be with rookie starting quarterback Jackson Dart. He missed time with a concussion. That kickoff is set for 8:15. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Southern Exteriors is proud to partner with James Hardy Siding and provide a siding remodel at no charge, no cost, for one deserving neighbor in need. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's somebody you go to church with, a veteran, whomever it is. Maybe it's you. You can nominate yourself too. Someone you know by sharing their story, sharing your story, and explaining why their home needs that fresh start. You got to have your entries in by today. Today is the final day, and one deserving home will be selected for this incredible transformation. We did it last year with a roof. The phone call was incredibly moving. Lots of tears, because the need had been met, and that's what Southern Exteriors wants to do. They've been serving Metro Atlanta, based out of Jackson, Georgia, and the entire Southeast, really, but Metro Atlanta, because that's where we are, since 1999, and they want to give back this Christmas holiday season. So go to southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co, top left corner, red button that says Holiday Give Back, Christmas Give Back, and click there, nominate the person, whomever it is. southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is partner at Ross & Pines, one of Atlanta's leading criminal defense firms, Noah Pines. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
It's midnight and the phone rings. It's a loved one calling from jail. They had a little too much fun at the holiday party and got pulled over. Now what? Time to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance will get your loved one home quickly. For 20 years, they've been helping folks with 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham and are available 24/7. For fast, professional, discreet services, call 404-BAILOUT. That's 404-BAILOUT or visit atlbail.com. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards. So you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Atlanta Braves single game tickets for the 2026 season are now on sale. Get your tickets for some exciting matchups next season. And check out some fan favorite ticket packages like Hello Kitty, SpongeBob, Snoopy, and Father's Day Catch on the Field. Plus, snag the first giveaway of the season, the Drake Baldwin Rookie of the Year bobblehead on March 31st, presented by Coca-Cola. Visit Braves.com/promos to get your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball, we are Braves Country.
For 4 decades, Project Cheer and the Salvation Army have helped Georgia families through temporary crisis, keeping essential services on and hope within reach.
You can contribute to Project Share directly from your monthly electric bill, and Georgia Power will amplify your gift with a 150% match. To donate, visit georgiapower.com/Project Share or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY. Together, we can provide help for families in crisis. Please donate today.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the Honest Car Guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1 or honestcarguy.com.
Extra 106.3 is live on your ride home with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder from 3 to 6 p.m.
After last year, 2 years ago, dealing with Social Security Administration and what pains in the butt they are, incompetent and slow and evil. Now I'm dealing with the process of looking ahead toward Medicare.
Oh, boy.
And that's even worse. The government and the healthcare industry goes out of its way to confuse you so you make the wrong mistake and you basically give more money away than you need to.
The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Your hard-earned tax dollars, your hard-paid-in tax dollars have been supporting Somali terrorism. How could it be so? The crazy thing is, the government and some of the agencies in Minnesota are the people that are waving the red flag on Tim Walz and what was going on in his administration, what still is going on in his administration that is detrimental to the United States and only benefiting Somali terrorism. It's unreal. And this is in the billions and billions of dollars.
To see how this is playing out in the direction that it's gone, it really has this air of this is what happens when you have people that come to this country that not only are not appreciative of it, but then they look to swindle the country. Because what has gone on is you have people that came to Minnesota from Somalia who then started faking with their children autism diagnoses that then were receiving money from the state that were sending it back to Somalia in order to support terrorist regimes, tribalism, whatever that they were supporting that was basically causing violence. What they would also do is they would also then tell different companies in the area, well, if you don't support this or if you're going to report this, we'll call you racist because you can't possibly be this way. Well, I mean, that works on those companies in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Like
it used to work everywhere.
I can't possibly remember. This is the home of George Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we have locked up people for doing their jobs because it was done to George Floyd. All right. Derek Chauvin, that dude hopefully gets a new trial here pretty soon with what his litigation team went ahead and filed as of last week. That should be coming. But this is the game that was played, and it was all under Tim Walz. And when different whistleblowers were trying to inform the governor, listen, there's so much money that's being snaked out of this country and is being sent overseas that's supporting violence. Well, Tim Walz swept it under the rug. What's the big deal? And so take a listen as he went on with NBC News yesterday. They decided to bring him on to discuss this. Listen to how quickly he runs away from the topic and then tries to spend the virtuous nature of people in Minneapolis.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
No, you got to wrap it up in that, well, if you're saying this, it's because you're racist. No, we're saying this because your state officials said this is a community that is stealing money. And they're doing it as a whole. They figured out this is the way to take advantage of other Minnesotans and other people around the country.
And you have people inside the government, the whistleblowers in Minnesota. The Minnesota Department of Human Resources, the tweet that they shared, I think it was yesterday, that said Tim Walz is 100% responsible for the massive fraud in Minnesota. We let him know about the fraud early on, hoping with a partnership to stop the fraud. But no, we got opposite response. He retaliated against the whistleblowers using monitored threats and repression. That's from his own administration.
That now has 1 million views, by the way. That particular post.
It's unreal because when you read it, it details, and it's long.
Can't run from this.
It details every step when they were trying to point this out to Tim Walz, and he retaliated against them instead of doing the right thing, instead of protecting the citizens of his country or of his state, and really the taxpayers of the country, because a lot of that money is federal money. Instead of defending it, instead of fixing the fraud, he helped it happen. That's according to them.
So to think about what Tim Walz has been over the last year, Tim Walz got up on stage and pulled out his phone and talked about having Tesla's stock price drop, which was ridiculous because one of the areas that when it came to Minnesota as part of their 401ks, their state ones, they actually tied into Tesla. Yeah. So he's like, so as Tesla loses money, my people in their state loses wealth. But he couldn't say it that way. He talked about Donald Trump. Every single morning he gets up hoping to see an obituary. He then is tied to one of the biggest frauds that we've had, that we're looking at billions of dollars of taxpayer money that disappeared by people who found out how to cheat the system. And so when Donald Trump, and this is Donald Trump, referred to Tim Walz as retarded, I don't think that that's a far off guess there.
See, I think that is mental impairment. He doesn't have mental impairment. He knows exactly what he's doing. He did this knowingly. He allowed it to happen knowingly. And it's so bad that the New York Times wrote an article about it.
Finally. Had to back the local reporting finally.
Exactly right. They finally gave in and said, we're going, hey, and here's the headline, how fraud swamped Minnesota's social services systems on Tim Walz's watch. This was a man that the Democrats thought would be a great vice president. You are Donald Trump away from having that man doing the same thing at the federal level.
They thought that he was somehow he's an honorable vet.
Well, he's a veteran.
He's a veteran.
He's a football coach.
Well, he's been to war.
He's a guy's guy.
The minute he said she runs a mean pick six, when he played AOC in Madden, she runs a mean pick six. Am I talking to like somebody's sister about football? Because that's what he comes across.
This is Patrick. He does sports.
This is Patrick. He does sports. It's a great commercial with Meghan Trainor.
Meghan Trainor's so good.
You needed a trainer, and you get Meghan Trainor.
That's right. But it's almost the same thing.
It is.
She's running the pick six.
This is Patrick. He does sports. That's That's Tim Walz.
It is.
And that's what he's caught up in. And it's not going away now that the actual rest of the country is finding out. We covered a portion of this talking about, again, these people used autism diagnosis. And we're like, okay, how do we profiteer off of this by saying all of our kids have this? And as it turns out, they didn't. Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
There was so much more fraud going on within these communities, taking money from the federal government and the state government.
It's crazy to think that dude was the vice presidential nominee.
Well, they were making great decisions at the time.
And it's not just Somalis. This is Tim Walz. It's not just Somalis committing fraud. It's not just them. Goodness.
But it's under his watch.
But can you imagine how much more is to be uncovered by his own words in that state? It's unreal.
Now watch yourself, Lee Harvey.
No kidding.
Coming for you.
No doubt about it. When we continue, Joe Biden was merely a presentation. Like when you go to school and you take your spreadsheets and your PowerPoints, it's a presentation, and that's what he was. Next at Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I know I've complained about this before, but it's really irritating how much the media in this country will deliberately or carelessly lie, all in an effort to promote a certain, usually leftist agenda. For instance, it doesn't take any research at all, a third grader could do it, to know that this country was not supposed to be a democracy. The word does not appear in the Constitution of any state or the Constitution of the United States or the Declaration of Independence. Our founders hated democracy, and the media knows this, but they continue to promote the idea. In another commentary, I guess, I'll tell you why they do this. Another one, racism. These professional journalists and headline writers should know it's easily discoverable, the definition of racist or racism. But they continue to abuse that. Why? Because it is in their interest in promoting their agenda to keep black victimization on the table in America. Fuzzy Zoeller died. He's a professional golfer, great guy, funny. Here's just one of the headlines. Fuzzy Zoeller, two-time major champion, haunted by racist joke about Tiger Woods, has died at 74. Racist joke, my Obama. What did Fuzzy Zoeller say? He wondered if Tiger Woods would serve fried chicken at the Champions Dinner the year after he won the Masters. That was supposed to be racist? The definition of racist, which the progressive media ignores, is the belief in the inherent or genetic inferiority of one race when compared to another. Suggesting that somebody likes fried chicken does not mean that some race is inferior to another. I'm sick of it, but the media will keep doing it. It promotes their agenda. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
I am Michael Green, chef and third-generation owner of Matthew's Cafeteria, located on Main Street in historic downtown Tucker, Georgia. We have been serving Southern comfort favorites since my grandparents opened the doors in 1955. 70 years later, Matthew's is still preparing those same recipes. Come in today, grab a tray, and sit down to award-winning fried chicken, turkey and dressing, hand-peeled mashed potatoes, and made-from-scratch biscuits, pies, and cobblers. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 6 days a week. Come and see us today and experience the Matthews way.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
It's back to court this hour for Luigi Mangione. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. For a pretrial hearing that could last several days in New York City, where he's jailed, charged with murder in the shooting last year, killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel.
Attorneys for Luigi Mangione are back in court in New York today to argue the notebook found in his backpack upon arrest should not be allowed in at trial. This is the notebook that allegedly contained hostile writings about the healthcare industry and other executives, as well as what investigators said was evidence of a plan to eventually commit an act of violence.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. It's day 3 of the the manhunt for a quadruple murderer in California who shot up a birthday party Saturday night, killing 4 people, injuring 11.
Gunfire erupted at a banquet hall in Stockton around 6 in the evening. The victims range in age from 8 to 21 years old. Investigators are working to figure out a motive. Crime Stoppers is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
Fox's Alicia Cunha. Another weekend of talks between the U.S. and Ukraine on a peace plan trying to stop Russia's war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called it very productive. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff goes to Moscow today for more talks with Russia. Republican Senator Tom Cotton tells Fox.
They should make it clear that President Trump means business. We're continuing to arm Ukraine through NATO. We've imposed sanctions on 2 major Russian oil companies.
President Trump acknowledges he did have a phone call with Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, but would not say if it was a good or bad discussion. As a U.S. military operation continues off the Venezuelan coast, blowing up more boats suspected of trafficking illegal drugs. Fox's Gernal Scott reports.
The top members of the House Armed Services Committee said they will join their Senate counterparts to call for a full accounting of the recent strikes on Venezuelan boats. They want the Office of Legal Counsel to provide the justification for it.
Now, some lawmakers say a report about one boat could amount to a war crime, with a second alleged strike killing survivors of the first bombing. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth denies that. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hand.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, something I hadn't thought about.
What's that?
By the way, that's Tug. I'm Los. It's the Morning Extra. There's Jarrett.
How you, boy?
It is Cyber Monday.
Dude.
I didn't even think about it until just now in the 9 o'clock hour.
Did you do any Black Friday shopping? Because
my wife got after it pretty aggressively when it came to Christmas shopping. So I don't know if you've seen this. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if it bypassed your son just because he's at a different age. So my daughters both subscribe to an app. It's like a wish list app. Mm-hmm. And it shows, like you can share it with the whole family. And then it shows you what's been picked and what hasn't.
Almost like a wedding registry or a baby registry or something.
Kid Christmas.
Yeah. How about that?
So that's
Dude, it's high-tech Christmas.
Yeah.
Lists. No more writing it down.
No more sending a letter to Santa.
It's got a link.
Yeah.
Here's how you
get it. And so my wife was being very aggressive trying to get all of that stuff that was in stock. And so that was it for her. I didn't make one purchase, which now I had to get to Cyber Monday, Jure, to be like, now I got to get something, right?
So I want to ask this delicately because you never know who may be listening. I just want to know, are there any Labubu's on your daughter's lists?
Goodness, I know they are on both of my nieces.
Okay, I think maybe with my younger daughter, not with my older daughter. But that also, the cool part about my daughter at 11 was that when we moved from one house to the next, so many toys like that just kind of went off her list.
Yeah.
Suddenly she didn't have room for them. She didn't really care for it. Like I have boxes of stuff that we still. I'm wanting to give it away. I want to go donate it.
Yeah.
But my wife kind of wants to hold on to it right now.
Maybe one or two. Maybe hang on to one or two.
She's got like one or two or three that are currently in her room, but she doesn't need more.
No,
and she hasn't asked for more.
Yeah. At this point, when the kids get older, it's phones, computers.
Car keys.
Car keys, which is in your near future, pal. Dude, you're so close to it, it's ridiculous.
We just finished off one portion of that, and the other one's coming.
Yeah.
So it'll be me and reaching out to Tom and be like, hey,
I need an assist here.
I'm just gonna let you know.
Here's what I'm searching for.
Honest car guy. We got to make something happen here for she'll be 15 later this month, and now the permit portion starts.
Yeah.
So,
and then driving classes, driving courses.
Yeah. It's the next phase.
I've told y'all a million times, the most frightened I've ever been as a parent was when my son backed out of the driveway on his own for the first time. I've never been more frightened in my entire life than that. So that's what you got to look forward to.
Awesome. Can't wait.
It will scare the daylights out of you. And the thing is, I tried to teach Jacob to drive, and it went okay. And my wife then because it really didn't.
Can he drive a stick at this point?
No, we don't even have one. Because
I figured that Jeep must have been a manual.
No, I don't even think they make manual Jeeps anymore. I know they don't make manual Mustangs anymore.
Yeah, you can still get the 6-speed in certain trims.
I think you have to. Don't you have to special?
Well, you got to
order?
ask for it.
Yeah, you got to special order that thing because it's so rare that people buy a 5. Because I can still drive a stick, and had I had one to teach Jacob, I would have tried to teach him. As I just explained, it didn't go all that well, so we went with the driving classes, driving school, and that did go well.
I've never driven a car that was a stick.
Okay, only a truck.
I've driven not even a truck.
No,
I've driven like farm equipment.
Yeah.
Cleanup equipment that was a stick. And so that's the only time where I've ever operated. We had stuff to get rid of debris and things at our deer lease when I was growing up. And so that was how I learned. And I was like, I can do it in a car. But I learned when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
So by the time that I was 16, if you had a stick, there was something weird. Everybody had an automatic at that point.
I was driving my first pickup truck, was a 5-speed Ford pickup truck. So, of course, I had to be able to drive a stick there. And then the first Mustang I bought was 5-speed. It's the only way to have one, really.
I leave my keys in the car because I just don't even worry about it. Like, ain't nobody going to be able to drive that thing out here.
You're not going anywhere with it.
Go ahead. Pop the clutch. I bet you do. It's like it's funny. Riley Green was on Jimmy Fallon's show, and Jimmy broke out a duck call. And he was like, hey, I want to see if you can do this. And Riley's like, oh, I could do it. I think it'd be funnier if we see if you could do it. He was like 50% chance you blow it from the wrong end. Jimmy Fallon picks it up, tries to blow the duck call, and of course has it backwards. Riley gets it out, knocks it out of the park. It's kind of the same concept. He was like, I know you can't do it. Kind of like with Jure. He's like, I know you can't drive it. You ain't gonna steal it.
Aware.
You ain't
no chance.
You ain't gonna steal it.
I love a stick. But the worst is because mine's a little tricky, right? You got there's a couple of secret ingredients under the hood over there.
Yeah.
And every now and then, I hate to admit it, but backing into my garage every now and then, I'm just like, stalled it out.
Pop the clutch.
And then my neighbors have got to hear me start it back up. It's 4 a.m.
Well, the thing is, they can't do it either, so
I get it right most of the time.
That's right, exactly. Joe Biden, we've learned, was not the president. We've been telling you for, since the beginning of the show.
What was it called? You had the name on it. It was like the committee.
Oh, yeah. That was it. Yeah.
The committee was who was running things. We found that out through so much of the research that's been going on. And so you have the House Oversight Committee. This is why I believe we've had Donald Trump, who's been so aggressive in the last 72 hours. Because it was one thing he'd been joking around. Like on Wednesday, he was joking around about pardoning the turkeys.
Right.
He's like, but last year's turkeys, it turns out, can't really pardon them. It was done with an auto pen.
Right.
So it was still a joke.
Yep.
And then by the time that we get to the weekend, it's not a joke. In fact, all these auto pens out the window. And if the Democrats want them, they want to keep them in play, well, then you're going to have to go to court. Well, what happens when you go to court? Well, now you're going to have Biden try and sign off on the fact that, well, yeah, I know I wasn't there, but I was aware. Well, how aware? All right, now you're getting into cognitive ability. Now I don't think the Democrats are going to fight this as hard as I believe some people would.
Because of what will come out.
Because what would come out.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, if he was too old to face prosecution, then how is he not too old to issue pardons?
How is he not too old for anything that he did? Was he capable of making any decision that he made?
Well, so here's what the House Oversight Committee found. And it's a 12-minute piece of audio. We're not going to play it. It's too long. But the audio starts walking through what they were doing as a group, as a White House. For instance, and there's just a handful that are all part of this audio of people going on the record and having to testify to this. Makeup. All right, well, a lot of presidents wear makeup. I mean, that's why we have the whole orange man bad. Look, Donald Trump, he's orange. They were trying to keep Joe Biden from looking like death. They had teleprompters at small fundraisers. What's the big deal there? Well, teleprompters are for national events or for State of the Unions. When you go speak out in public, you look around. You do not have politicians that use teleprompters.
And especially when it's like just after whatever you've signed, taking questions from the press, but every question was scripted. We've seen the place cards that said, here's the question they're going to ask, here's where you look, this is where they'll be sitting, here's your answer.
Limiting events. Not a surprise. We talked about after 4 o'clock, they weren't doing that. Stage managing appearances. Reducing his workload. Avoiding interviews. Now, here was the piece of testimony that was really telling. You had the administration that was openly trying to recruit. The names that have come up is Jeffrey Katzenberg and Steven Spielberg to help produce the State of the Union. You have to make it look like he's more with it. So the joke has been, and it's true, this wasn't a presidency. This was a production. This was to make a man who should have never been president, either by vote or by the ability to execute the office.
Or both.
This was to make him look like he actually could. And it started from day one. Remember, he fell off the bike like the first week.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
91 pages that shows what the inner circle was doing in order to make Biden look, as they put it, meticulously stage managed. That's what they had to do.
And it's exactly what I wrote down, stage managing. Because from my background in music radio and seeing stage productions come down and working with a dear friend of mine named Scott Munn, who has been a stage manager, has been a tour manager. It's all about meticulous placement, so nothing falls between the cracks. Everything looks just so for every night of a concert tour. It's got to be meticulous. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be what they did to Joe Biden.
Now, let's be clear about this as well, because remember, no one's above the law, right? That's what I was told.
Over and over again.
I've been clearly explained that the Supreme Court has even made a difference. They've drawn a line between official acts and unofficial acts. The problem for Joe Biden is trying to claim that all 8,000 pardons, many of which, all of them nearly, came down on the last couple days of his presidency, that all 8,000 were official acts. Now, you can say, well, a pardon in itself is an official act. Well, that's the problem he's going to have, is that the Trump administration is basically saying, well, then, if you wish to speak about all these, just know that perjury is on the table.
And we hope that you will come speak about it. You know, we want to see.
Please talk about your expertise with this particular pardon. What does it happen to be? Was there compensation involved in these?
And then discovery, too, I would imagine.
Discovery that goes involved. Let's find out medically what your staff was doing to you. Were you in the place to be able to handle this? Because remember, so many of these pardons were signed where he wasn't even in the state. They were done with him being back in Delaware. So how much did you really know?
Or did you know anything? Now, he's going to say, of course, if he's asked, he's going to say, yeah, of course I knew about it all. But will you say that same thing under oath? For him, he might. He's too old to prosecute.
He's too old to prosecute. At some point,
what about the people around him?
But what about the inner circle? Because none of them have any sort of presidential immunity when it comes to official acts.
I wonder which ones of those will sing like a canary.
And I think that's the next part coming.
To keep their tail end out of it. I would.
Yeah, I would. I told you, I'm not doing a year. I'm not doing 2 weeks for anybody.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I get it. Like maybe a family member, but if Jure was like, dude, I need you to do 2 days for me, I'd be like, Jure, I think you got to do those 2 days.
Buddy, you're going to have to do it.
Buddy, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know it's 2 days, but I'd listen. I don't want.
They got 3 hots and a cot. You're all right in there.
I mean,
big boy, you can handle yourself.
Maybe at the local jailhouse. This is gonna be federal prison.
Well, here's the problem. It's like Jure would be stuck. He'd have to be like, do I really need to join the Aryan Brotherhood for 2 days?
That's
like, if you got to survive in here,
you got to do something.
Jure's got to do 4 days. I'm like, well, it's between the Italians or the Aryan Brotherhood, Jure.
Buddy,
you got to make a choice. Again,
the Italians are not going to have me.
Well, sometimes they have respect for other people. Like there was the story of the former CIA agent where the Italians took him in because they were like, all these other people are idiots. We like you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to be a regular deal. But again, there's a reason why the Trump administration, Donald Trump, is speaking about this and going after it. That presidency was not a presidency. It's a production, which is why it's funny that Donald Trump actually took down the picture of Joe Biden and put an auto pen.
But think about, to give this more flavor, more seasoning, think about what they did with the makeshift Oval Office that they created, the set that they created to look like the Oval Office.
That had giant video screens. I mean, again, as you were pointing it out, they used Hollywood to create a production so as to make it look like he was sitting in the Oval Office and functioning as a regular president, even though they knew conventionally he could not. So they had to recreate it. They had to go make a believe.
And yet they want you to believe everything he signed, he knew about. He told them, yeah, go ahead. This person needs a pardon, that person. He had no idea. He didn't know where he was. He didn't even know he wasn't in the Oval Office because it looked like the Oval Office.
And so, of course, the response to all of this is, well, clearly there must be something going on with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's in public every single day.
Absolutely. And taking questions every single day.
Do you ever remember Joe Biden taking a question on Air Force One?
Never.
In flight or otherwise?
No.
They actually were loading him in, essentially that's what it became, through the lower end step so he'd stop slipping and falling.
Goodness, dude.
They changed his footwear so that he'd stop slipping and falling. This is what we lived on. This is what we lived through. And I was told I was crazy for noticing it.
And you are just absolutely nuts. But that's another thing. Dr. Ven Gupta on MSNBC. He's the same guy that was the doctor that was working with Joe Biden, told you that Joe Biden, excellent shape, high functioning, and robust. That's the guy that sits on MSNBC and tells you that still. And now he's turned it. He says, Donald Trump, he's the one you got to look out for, Los. He's the one that's in cognitive decline. He can see it, not because he's examined Donald Trump, because he can see it. This is the same guy that lied to you about Joe Biden. You're going to believe him about Donald Trump because that's the new. I saw that bubble up all over Thanksgiving. Donald Trump, he's in cognitive decline.
That was the talk that they were trying to push through. They were hoping that would become like some sort of Thanksgiving conversation. He must be in cognitive decline. Look what they're doing. I know that I got a chance to hear from a man early on in the Biden presidency who said I would diagnose him as having dementia from across the mall from seeing him walk.
Yeah.
It's like you just see it. It's like that's what they look like. And then Biden went out. I found this to be really fun over the weekend. He went out into a community. He looks so robust, so healthy. He looks like warmed over death. Granted, he's fighting some stuff. But this was a man that they firmly believed they would get him reelected. Then they would hand the reins over to Kamala Harris or somebody else. Then again, Joe would be the vessel by which they could continue their power. He ended up telling Ukrainian people that I'm pushing for Ukraine. I'm pushing for so much for Ukraine so hard. Do you not know you're not the president anymore?
No. I'm not sure he does. He didn't know he was the president when he was supposed to be the president.
Are you not aware that you aren't in charge of that anymore? Otherwise, we're talking about the Logan Act, right? You're not allowed to act as some sort of an official in these negotiations.
Yeah. No, and nobody wants to hear from you to begin with. The American people voted you out. They voted the person that you recommended, whether as a slight to the Democrat Party, knowing that she couldn't win. But regardless, they got rid of your party because of what you put the country through.
Your direction was so roundly and soundly defeated that you lost the popular vote for the first time in 20 years, and you lost all 7 swing states.
That's how done we are as Americans with Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. A crazy leftist U.S. representative is calling for the U.S. government to be overthrown. Talk about that next on Extra 106.3.
Wherever you are in Georgia, you can stream Extra 106.3 and crystal clear digital with the all-new Extra 106.3 app. Get Extra's live on-air stream in real time, or go back and listen to all your favorite shows, Neil Bortz, or original podcasts, no matter where you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep, the place that stays ready and they don't have to get ready. Well, that's what they're offering to you. Whatever your version of ready is, that is what True Prep is able to provide to you in this community. 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta, or go online, truprep.com. That's truprep.com. And I highly suggest that you check out every single day. They do have a couple of sections that are worth checking into. First off, they have their sales and clearance items. You can see what is in the store. It is updated every single day, but you also have their current sale items as well right now. And this is limited. You've had it going for a couple of weeks. It's going to be going away here very soon. Glock 19 Gen 4s and Glock 19Xs still got some in stock. They are both on sale. They have great prices. That is what you're able to get. Plus, when it comes to ammunition, you will find some of the best ammunition on the stuff that you want for the best prices you're going to find around. That is what they're able to offer you on a regular basis. Also, the Radical Firearms, the RF-15s, they have those currently in stock. Those also have a reduced price on them. So again, check them out over at True Prep on Cobb Parkway in Marietta, or go online. Do this routinely. truprep.com. That's truprep.com. Also, check out their workshop pages. They have more of their classes for first-time gun buyers. That is coming up as well. You can get registered for that as well. Again, truprep.com. That's True Prep. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Captid Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Okay, who just opened your Obamacare or Marketplace renewal and almost fell off the chair? Hey, 35%, and it's not even any better? You're not crazy. They keep jacking the premium and giving you less. I don't know about this stuff, but I know who does. I go to Steven, the health insurance doctor. I send people there because he's been doing this 16 years. He wins awards for this stuff. He helps the self-employed, 1099, small business owners, the people actually paying for their own insurance. You bet you're going to get corporate-style coverage, nationwide PPO. How about lower zero deductibles, plans that pay you cash benefits when you use them? And he does it all around the year round there because, you know, he's independent. He's got multiple carriers to quote. A lot of you are going to see that premium go right down instead of up. And in some cases, saving us 60% over that renewal number. He works for you, not Washington. Here's the number, 678-523-0759. 678-523-0759. Or go to healthinsurancedoctor.net. It's Steven, not a call center. Your plan, your savings, and tell him the Kibber sent you.
Hey, this is John Flading, the owner of ATL Turfco. If your grass didn't grow this summer, there's a good chance it won't grow this spring. It's time to think about a custom, low-maintenance, pet-friendly, artificial lawn that will stay green year-round. So this holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving. A perfect backyard or custom golf green from ATL Turfco. See what's possible for your home. Read our 5-star reviews and book your appointment today at atlturfco.com. Spots are filling up fast, so call now, 404-825-7063.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro swing.
But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, December 1st. Metro Atlanta police are sharing information about safety and scam prevention for the holiday shopping season. They warn in-person shoppers to shop in pairs or a group when possible, to park in well-lit areas, and to not leave any valuables in your car. Police also say to be on alert for online scams by sticking to reputable online retailers with secure payment options and to schedule deliveries for a time when someone will be at home. Police also recommend doorbells with surveillance cameras to capture any package thieves. The city of Smyrna has approved a plan with the Cobb County School District to revamp the underutilized Campbell Middle School campus. The new plan includes renovating 15 acres, including the football and baseball fields, tennis courts, parking areas, and a green space. The new recreational areas will be allowed to be used by the community after school hours and on the weekends. And over 10,000 runners and walkers turned out for the 23rd annual Gobble Jog on Thanksgiving in Marietta. All proceeds of the Gobble Jog benefit Must Ministries. This year's event was expected to raise almost $700,000. Today's weather, mostly cloudy and chilly with some scattered showers. The high is 51 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
With it being, the Christmas holiday season, do you expect when you walk into whatever retailer or if you order something online that it would be dangerous? When you order it, it says, hey, by the way, this is really dangerous for your children, but we want you to buy it anyway.
I remember I had like a baby seat that ended up being one of those things that got recalled, and we're like, oh, okay, but people were using it incorrectly. So that's where we said, all right, let's make sure that we either don't use this or thank you for the recall notice, or we use it correctly.
Use it the right way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be no different if your car's airbag, there was some sort of recall because all of a sudden you're driving down the road and for no reason, boom,
pop,
and you're all over the road, running into people, running into things. Of course, you're not going to use that product. What happens when the government tries to mandate that product?
And that is what we're finding out from the FDA. The memo that got out over the weekend, maybe this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Maybe this is the moment the dam breaks. But what you've had is an internal FDA review. And FDA Chief Medical Officer Vinay Prasad, he's basically calling for, as an organization, we need to look at ourselves and recognize what we got wrong. And what did they point out? It says, quote, for the first time, the U.S. FDA will acknowledge that the COVID-19 vaccines have killed American children. He says, never again will the U.S. FDA commissioner have to himself find deaths in children for the staff to identify it. He said, some staff may not agree. Please submit your resignation letters to your supervisor. They're acknowledging now that, remember, because I think people are so warped by COVID, they will say, well, yeah, like some children died from taking this shot. The problem is that COVID is not a threat to children in general. Average age of death is 78. The ability to come back from it, 99.7. So this was something that was mandated from the CDC that was dangerous in comparison to actual infection to children. And so to acknowledge just 10 of them, that's 10 too many.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Again, if you had a recall from the dealership that you bought your car from that said, hey, this could kill you or your kids, you'd be breaking your neck to get back over there to get it fixed. Who's going to roll the dice with their kids?
And now the problem ends up being the FDA because they don't have reliable tracking information because they were never doing this the way that, let's say, VAERS was. And we've been told by the VAERS data that's underpowered because that's self-reporting of
and
vaccine
understaffed,
injury,
too.
That is probably underpowered by 25 times. So whatever the number is, times it by 25, that's probably much more realistic as to what occurred. But you now actually have a federal agency that's having to admit not only did we kill kids, but then we didn't do anything about it.
Gosh.
Like, is that the moment when you realize how dirty it is? They killed kids and then tried to cover it up for the longest time and just pretend because everyone was making money. Everyone was getting their funding. This echoes so much of what happened in the 80s during AIDS when the NIH was looking like it's on its way out. It's going to get cut. It's going away. And then suddenly, here's AIDS on the scene. And now, well, how do we maximize this? Well, let's give them drugs they don't need. Let's give them ACT. We'll make a bunch of money off it. It's the same concept. It's the same play.
We've not seen a signal, and we've actually looked intentionally for the signal in over 200 million doses given. That was Rochelle Walensky when she was running the CDC at the time. And according to this memo, people knew that was dishonest and manipulative. But it stands out to me because you talked about how many doses were given and how much money was made. She even used the number 200 million. How much money was made off of just that 200 million doses? And how much damage was done knowingly? And no one gave a crap. No one gave a rip about it.
Well, if you brought it up, you were immediately scolded. I still remember the one time I got the big bot attack is when I posted about remdesivir. And it was just so many people that weren't actual people. They were just part of a bot farm that were there to tell you to shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And we're there to just cause somebody to not read what I wrote. Because, I mean, if I post something that remdesivir causes renal failure and that here was the primary level of care along with a ventilator and how these were bad ideas and this is how many people it killed, well, now you had the medical industry, the bot farms, that had to go on defense to protect themselves.
And so protect that money.
And so so for instance, if Tug posts something and then there's 80 people that say Tug is wrong and somebody happens on it, they would think, well, Tug is wrong. It's an operation. So when you post something, and by the way, why did we know that remdesivir causes renal failure? It's on the box.
Yeah, that's the first sign indicator.
It's a black box warning on the box.
Right there. You can't miss it.
I'm sorry, the product actually tells you the potential hazards of it. And yet when you point that out, you don't understand. Remdesivir saved millions of people. Oh, did it? But now the FDA, from an internal memo, again, is admitting to 10. So how many do you think it really
actually took place?
Because the ones that are public, the amount of people that are like, this is what happened to my kid, those stories were immediately swept under the rug. And the amount of people, I saw this from Mary Talley Bowden. She's MD Breathe. And she's one of the people that works out of Houston, and she tells the horror story of what all the stuff she dealt with for treating patients during COVID. She lists on one of her own posts, here's somebody reach out to me, and here's like the 20-some people that they know that all had issues. And I had a funny moment during this past week. So had family in town, just like everybody else did for Thanksgiving. And we were having a discussion, and my out of my wife's two brother-in-laws, my brother-in-laws, the older of the two, very sharp guy. I mean, we're talking like high-end graduate, one of the smartest dudes around, quiet, doesn't say much. When he speaks, you're like, okay, it's probably pretty important. Well, he also is bought into so much of left-wing politics. Now, not saying like in your face about it or talks about it or anything else, but he has his set of beliefs, and that's fine. Cool. That's how it's going to be. His mother said something to me that was funny. She was like, well, it was on some sort of purchase. And she's like, well, he didn't agree with the reviews, or he decided not to move forward with it. And my next thing was, but he stuck that shot in his arm without a problem. Now, he ended up having an issue that happened from that. And it was finally not until the issue was like, maybe I should stop. Like,
did he finally?
I believe so.
Well, that's good news.
I certainly hope so.
Because there's some people that
still just hold on to the dogma.
Absolutely.
Yes, but to think you will read an Amazon review and not buy a product, but you didn't question one thing from something that didn't even have any informed consent on it.
And it says right on the box, this is going to damage you.
It took the FDA having to tell you, all right, we got 10 kids dead, for people to maybe sit back and say, wow, what was I really stuck with?
And you had a compliant media that carried the water. And then you had sweet Aunt Peg, who will right now, if I were to present this to her, which is why I'd never do it because it would be pointless, she would say, well, that's Trump's FDA. He's told them what to say, what they have to say.
Told them what to say about the product he was so proud of.
I'm telling you. It's exactly what she would do. She would
it's
reject
a cult
it.
dogma.
She would reject it resoundingly because Trump's FDA said
it's a cult thing. You read about these stories about how these cults get created, and one of the first things people worry about when they really get inundated with it, what if I get ostracized? So sure, you can have sex with my wife. Oh, okay.
That's not a left field.
Well, that's. I mean, that's. That,
But they do.
Listen, all cults start like this. Okay, here's how all cults start. We have an organization. We're friendly to one another. It's a new life. Everything's going to be friendly. And then the cult leader wants to have sex with your wife or you across the board.
Right.
But the only ones that don't was Heaven's Gate, and that's because he castrated himself. But every other cult,
one.
This is what's going to happen.
It's all
Here's how we're going to breed. Yes, it all goes down that road. Yeah. But people start worrying about, what if I get ostracized? So, yeah, sure, you can have sex with me.
Well, I guess.
I mean, you're the Messiah.
Yeah.
I know you're a man and I'm a man and I don't want to and I'm straight, but, the Messiah told me to, so here's what I'm going to do. Can you imagine if you have that mindset, but you apply it to anything when it comes to drugs or medication or it comes
politics?
Or politics?
Anything goes. Whatever you say is right. Whatever you say, I agree with. Whatever you say, I accept and will do, knowing that it's not good for me.
Because if I feel like I'm part of even, let's say, a questionable HOA, the moment you say, well, in order to be in good standing with the HOA, I have to have sex with your wife, I'm going to be like, it's a cult.
Yeah, back up.
I'm out.
Get out of there.
I'm out. Time to go.
Move out. Move.
I would
move.
know because I tend to question most things.
Question everything, man.
I look for those genetic markers of what it is, and these people never did. And so, yeah, you're right. Even though the FDA can say, look, we killed kids.
It won't be enough.
The kids that are dead.
It won't be
and
enough.
it still won't be enough.
Which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But that's the reality that we face. That's the reality we live in. Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10. I want to play you a piece of audio from Rashida Tlaib. This woman is absolutely nuts. This woman despises the United States of America. And this is what she wants. She wants people to rise up against the government of the United States, encouraging Hamas fighters and their supporters to do so.
Look at this room. We ain't going anywhere. Political structures that I have to work in, that we all are surrounded by, was built on slavery and genocide and rape and oppression. Real change doesn't come from the cowards and warmongers in Congress. It comes from the streets. It comes from all of us mobilizing and seizing the power to resist and fight back. Gaza is the compass in this country.
She says the warmongers, they can't be the ones that make all the decisions. Well, it sounds like overthrowing the government would be kind of a military type action. So who's the warmonger? I would ask that. And then secondly, how long are we going to allow this to go on in the United States? I'm ready. This will be startling to some folks, but I'm ready for Donald Trump to start acting like a dictator. He's been called one forever. Get rid of people like this. I'm done with it.
You were always going to be pushed to this level. This was kind of the warning to the left. Not in a way where, as they do to us, which is they try and kill you to silence you. They call you a Nazi, not because they believe you're a Nazi, but so they can hurt you. That's always been the MO there. But we have always said, and we've warned the left, if you keep pushing this way, you will eventually get a right-wing dictator. That there will be enough people that turn into Tug Cowart, goes to church every Sunday, loves his community, loves people around him, and he's like, I've just had it. Here, you go take care of this business. And that won't be Donald Trump. It'll be something far worse. But that's how that occurs. That's how it enables, because you just say, this can't be dealt with anymore.
And it can't.
You can't depend on the people of Minnesota to not elect somebody who allegedly married her brother in order to come here.
Or were facilitating billions of dollars being cycled through their state and sent to Somalia to support terrorism. That's happening in your country. And they're mad that you've noticed.
Yeah.
They're mad that you have a problem with it.
The fact that you notice makes you racist.
That's exactly right.
Which is why the old tropes don't work anymore. Hey, Los, I can't believe you. Are you racist? Well, call me whatever you want.
It doesn't matter to me anymore.
Doesn't matter to me what you call me anymore. Well, I mean, is that because you're transphobic? Yes, I'm transphobic. Whatever. Okay, that's fine.
I'm anything.
I don't know. I get home and I'm like, trans people. Like I turn corners and I look around them because I'm like, what if there's a trans person there? No, this is your defense of your impropriety, and you expect me to not call it what it is by trying to make me the target. No, this is on Talib and the rest of them. Y'all are all in on this. This is your constituency. These are the people you say you represent.
And these are the people
so tough. And the fact that you think I'm a warmonger for not wanting to send more money over to Ukraine.
Yeah.
That I'm backing.
You're the problem.
Peace around the world.
That's right. You're the problem.
Okay.
She's an insurrectionist. I mean, if you're going to call people insurrectionists, that's what insurrection sounds like to me as far as language goes.
She's a Manchurian candidate at the very least. She's
an enemy to America. I can guarantee you that. So Morning Xtra and Extra.
Elected from a community that agrees with this.
That's right. That is just fine with it. She calls on Hamas fighters and supporters to rise up against and take over America. Dude, that's what you're up against, man. It ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be pretty. But you better fight back. You better get yourself to the ballot box. You better take everybody you know to the ballot box. Get them registered. Let them know what's happening. Talk to them. Communicate inside your community. Because this is what you're up against. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 877-9Southern, southernexteriors.co. A friend of the show goes off on partisans who say having the National Guard in American cities is dangerous. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, December 1st. It's championship week in college football. Mercedes-Benz Stadium will once again be the site of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama. Each team survived tight games in rivalry week. Georgia's currently a 2.5-point favorite for this matchup Saturday afternoon. The Hawks, they play the second game of a back-to-back tonight after a 142-134 double overtime win in Philadelphia last night. The Hawks are now in Detroit to play the Eastern Conference leading Pistons. That tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. Monday Night Football closes out Week 13 in the NFL as the New England Patriots host the New York Giants. The Giants will be with rookie starting quarterback Jackson Dart. He missed time with a concussion. That kickoff is set for 8:15. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Jaron Solomon here, and every year there's a new phone, a new tablet, a new trend, but some things never lose their value or their sparkle. This Christmas, make it unforgettable at Solomon Brothers Jewelers. You'll find gifts that sparkle as bright as the season, from our famous diamond studs to timeless tennis bracelets and trendy yellow gold necklaces starting at $9.99. It seems like every year everything gets more expensive, except here. Our holiday gift guides make it easy to find the perfect piece, and with our low price guarantee and flexible financing, luxury has never been more accessible. This holiday season, choose timeless over temporary. Choose jewelry. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to explore the gift guides or book your private appointment today to further customize your shopping experience. Solomon Brothers, Atlanta's trusted Christmas destination for over 40 years.
I am Michael Green, chef and third-generation owner of Matthew's Cafeteria, located on Main Street in historic downtown Tucker, Georgia. We have been serving Southern comfort favorites since my grandparents opened the doors in 1955. 70 years later, Matthew's is still preparing those same recipes. Come in today, grab a tray and sit down to award-winning fried chicken, turkey and dressing, hand-peeled mashed potatoes, and made-from-scratch biscuits, pies, and cobblers. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 6 days a week. Come and see us today and experience the Matthew's way.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the honest car guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, They tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Deal and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella, and we're gonna get you some help. We're gonna call 404-777-1911. We're gonna visit stopmyed.com. We are gonna say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at stopmyed.com.
It's here. It's called winter. Is your furnace ready to make sure you're warm inside and you keep the cold weather outside? Well, if you're not sure, you need to talk to the folks at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and it's still that way today. Give Central a call at 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert since 1947. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com. That's 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
The holiday season is here, but drinking and driving is no reason to cheer. That's because drunk driving is a factor in 1 out of 4 traffic deaths in Georgia. Preventing drunk driving deaths is very easy. Just hand the keys to a sober driver. Those who make the wrong decision to drink and drive may find themselves in the backseat of a patrol car because Georgia law enforcement officers do not give warnings to drunk drivers. They take them to jail. The Governor's Office of Highway Safety asks everyone to make the holidays and every day merrier by driving sober so they won't have to pull you over.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Xtra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Xtra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Dude, this show's flown by.
Yes, it has. Can I give you a tried and true methodology that I believe in, I believe you believe in as well?
Sure.
So over the weekend, we had a reporter from Ole Miss. He'd gone on a podcast and he likened the situation with Lane Kiffin. And I don't think it's inappropriate. He made the point that, as it's been known, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Which is a funny line.
It is.
And it's true. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Well, Lane Kiffin got wind of it, and then after the Egg Bowl, approached him and basically pointed out, you want to call me a hoe in front of all these guys over here? And some people got caught up in he's just saying he's being a tough guy. He's got state troopers behind him. Listen, the fact that Lane Kiffin approached this reporter and said what he said to him, those state troopers aren't there for Lane. They're there for you too.
That's right.
And what I've always believed is that if you say it about somebody, be willing to say it to their face or say it in their presence. Don't run to X and start telling everybody about, well, what, do you want me to fight him? It's like, no. Just say, Coach, this is what I said, and this is what I likened it to.
And here's why I said it.
And here's why I said it. Because now he looks bad. Or at least now he has to explain himself. Now you can then say, well, look, now he's gone to LSU, and now it's all played out the way I said it was going to. No, you got punked, man, because if we had Lindsey Graham on this show, I would have to refer to him and point out, listen, I call you Lady Graham. What do we call Anna Paulina Luna?
Angel face.
We would have to start the interview by saying we routinely refer to you as Angel Face.
Here's why.
Now, back before things turned significantly, when Marjorie Taylor Greene was showing pictures of Hunter Biden naked on the congressional floor, I said, that's some spirit animal stuff. What did I tell her? I said, I've called you my spirit animal for these reasons.
Exactly right.
All the old rule is if you're willing to say it about somebody on a show,
Make sure you say it to their face.
Make sure you say it to them.
No, I agree.
I mean, if you're going to be Johnny Tough Guy or you're going to act in the way that you are, then be willing to say it to them.
And can we address something, too, with the whole Lane Kiffin going to LSU? Those people that had nothing better to do than to meet the aircraft that was going to fly him.
Stand outside
and
the fence
boo
line.
And shout and cuss at him. Do y'all not have nothing else to do? Nothing. You got nothing else to do.
It was a Sunday. Church was over. Listen, let's go over to the airport and scream at Lane.
Dude, what a complete waste of time. A complete and utter waste of time.
I'd say the same thing if Tug decided that he's going to go over to the airport and welcome back Kirby Smart from whatever victory.
I'm not going to.
I know.
got time.
I know.
Who's got time to do that? I mean, the only reason I even went to the Atlanta Braves World Series parade is because it was here.
And I would also say that I do draw a line. There is something different before I want to show up someplace to vent
celebrate.
my anger at a college football coach, in the big scheme of things, the college football coach.
Yeah.
Versus a celebration with a community, and it might include a college football coach. I think good vibes are always better than bad vibes.
Always. Always. And the folks at Ole Miss, and I know you're upset. I understand you're upset. You're losing what has become the most probably legendary coach in Ole Miss history, giving you more face time on national television, got you recruiting to a place it's never been before, been more successful than he's ever been before. Sometimes, and I know it's painful right now, but when you look back on this, you're going to be like, man, I'm glad we had Lane Kiffin for those 6 years. Because we wouldn't have any of this had we not.
It's just every fan base where Lane moves on. Remember, even at Alabama, do you remember how it came to an end at Alabama? Like, does anybody... Jerry, do you remember how it came to an end at Alabama?
For Lane Kiffin?
I do not recall.
It includes this city.
They fired him before the season was over because they considered him too big of a distraction.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Like, that was your offensive coordinator that you fired because you're like, he's too big of a distraction with all the stuff he's weighing out. We want to be moving forward. We all want to go the same direction.
He got left here in town.
Yeah.
They like,
so we'll see you later.
Lane's waving by at the bus.
And you thought if you were Ole Miss, it was somehow going to end differently?
No.
At LSU, you think it's going to end any differently? No, you just take your 6 or 7 years.
Ask Tennessee fans.
Yeah. He left them high and dry after a year.
Because he got a better opportunity.
The Raiders, to this day, and he was who he was. But when you look at their former owner and how he put a presentation together to tell you about what kind of a bad dude that Lane Kiffin was. And you're thinking to yourself, like, that's just the old man being crazy.
Yeah, Lane's just fine.
Yeah, you know what? It's just being too vindictive. No, he was right.
And here's the thing. I love Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, he is what he is.
As long as you know what you're getting, you'll never be disappointed.
I'm getting the hoe. It's not the housewife. And at the first opportunity,
he's really good at what he does.
He's really good at what he does, but he is going to not be the housewife.
That's right. Who might not be the best.
What is it? Ride her till she bucks you or don't ride her at all? That's what they tell you about, when you're in the rodeo?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And you got bucked off at Ole Miss. Be thankful for the 6 years you got. Yeah, I mean, 15 years from now, they're going to be looking back going, man, we should build a statue for Lane Kiffin, put it out in front.
Look how we did with Lane.
Hemingway Stadium.
Man, that's the other part, too. The way you go out, sometimes the way that's just...
Yeah.
You don't get welcome back the same way.
Well, that'll be second to last game of the season next year.
I mean, why do you think you have such good vibes for Coach Mark Richt? Like, it didn't end great.
No, it didn't.
You actually played Fatone Bauta against Florida. That's when they decided we're firing this guy.
We're done
but obviously, with some of his health conditions and concerns, what's one of the biggest supporters? Georgia fans
and Kirby Smart.
Yes, because you went out the right way, so you can come back the right way.
That's right. If you go out all wrong,
That's
they
the way
ain't
it's
no
gonna be.
coming back.
No.
They ain't
See
no
Urban
coming back.
Meyer for that one.
I mean, we've had people that have left this company and come back with open arms. Like, hey, glad you enjoyed the situation, built up your skills, can't wait to get you back here. And that happens. That's a regular thing in society. The amount of times the company my wife used to work at for 20 years has contacted about like, hey, just want to see if anything's changed.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you left the right way.
The right way. That's exactly right. Doing things the right way. You'll never go wrong. I've told my son that a million times. I know Los told his kids that too. If you do it the right way, even when it's tough, do it the right way, and things are going to go your way. At some point, they will.
That's why when Tug's going out, he told me, I'm going out a blaze of glory.
That's right. Bang, bang.
Tell them where all the bodies are.
Bang, bang.
Let me tell you what I know about everybody in here.
Here's where the bodies are buried. Go find them. That'll do it for us. For Los and Jure, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.